How do you feel about your ex-president being fucking ransomed and blackmailed in the court justice system and lawfared against? Like, you need to
I-
answer that.
I believe in our justice system, so I think that if a jury finds him guilty or if a president finds him guilty, that the evidence that was provided by the state was probably strong enough to find him guilty.
Or is it Trump, Biden, who hasn't even said one word about Korea this whole fucking 4 years? Or Trump to actually strengthen the relationship, went
He
and
doesn't
met
want to
with the guy,
legitimize
told
him.
him, hey, listen, we want to make a deal with you. I'm serious about this. Let's get there. Let you and the South Korea get to meet each other.
And Nonfon is a big ECON person, so now you're walking into a trap. Not like he knows more than you. It's just ECON is like so boring that we're gonna just have to hear ECON for the next like 5 minutes if you let him speak on ECON.
The religious perspective would be tolerant of other people's ideologies and would abolish child support and would allow people to live and marry in different under different churches and underneath their own contracts. Whereas the libertarian perspective would force us to go get married in the government.
You know what, Manar? You know what my most pro-Muslim take is? I don't think that the polygamy should be. I think there should be religious exceptions to polygamy.
A big criticism of that view on life, I'm just pointing out, is the problem with combining intolerant people with tolerant people is that the intolerant people will take control over
there's a paradox of tolerance, which is why tolerance isn't absolute.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, if Jared Kushner is bad for him owning a business.
Well, it's not for him owning a business. It's for how he got to the position he got to from his stepfather, and then using that position to broker deals.
Yeah. So tell me the bad thing.
From what I gather, again, I'm not that good on this topic, but okay. So sorry, when your chatters made me laugh. So my biggest problem is that it seems like someone who's directly involved with the Middle East and their political job right after leaving it, got $1 billion, $100 million. He just got a big investment from the Middle East. So it seems like there could have been some sketchy deals going on, and which is why we try not to have nepotism in politics, which is funny to say because like in America, like that's all politics is nepotism. But yeah, I just feel like it's a very bad look.
So
the biggest thing is, one second, let me.
Can I give you a picture?
Yeah, of course, I can click.
All right, I'll paint you a picture. If Jared Kushner is bad because he had a position in power that was given to him by his network, knowing the president, and then he used that to leverage dealing and increasing his own revenue through his own companies and potentially maybe doing more dealings in the Oval Office as well later on if Trump is reelected.
Okay, Jesus, what's going on, chat? I just got up.
Really, like the $2 billion would pay off, you know.
So what was your point? That like it just sounds like good business.
Like, the $2 billion will pay off, right? So let me give you this. So if this is true, then how can you reconcile that Anothny Blinken has his own private firm that lobbies for defense contractors, and he's owned it since he was in the Barack Obama administration. He was in the administration as a colleague and like a small guy. And then he opened his own firm while he was in the administration, became a lobbyist for defense contractors. You can look it up right now. Look up Anothny Blinken's company, and it's a really nice webpage. It's very vague. It doesn't tell you anything, but it talks a little bit about defense and his connection.
Who is this person in relation to Biden?
But this is my relation.
The Secretary of State, right?
If you have a problem with a guy that had used nepotism to get a company that directly affects the politics of the Washington through money and special interest through people that are investing in him, then you should also have a problem with Anothny Blinken because he has a company that actually lobbies. This is a lot worse than Jared Kushner. At least Jared Kushner is hiding it as a hedge fund or whatever.
I wouldn't say hiding it makes it better.
This one is a lobbying company, especially directed to defense contractors. And now he's the Secretary of State, which is literally the highest position for defense-wise. He has full authority of all defense contracts right now. And he's the one that okays it. And he himself used his connection when he was in the Barack Obama administration with Biden to get Biden to re-put him in this position, a much higher position that Jared Kushner even had. And so how can you reconcile this connection?
Well, I have two things. First, I don't think people first, I don't think the Jared Kushner thing is very much mittened. It's usually in response to the Hunter Biden claims. I don't think Democrats really push on it that much. It's usually only brought up when people bring up Hunter Biden. And then also, too, because it doesn't sound like he was brought in by nepotism. It seems like he was brought in by experience. It seems like under President Obama's administration, Biden got to know the person, probably thought they were a good candidate for it, and then probably named them for it when he went into office. Isn't that probably more likely than the case of like evil?
Yeah,
like,
but can I say that
wheels?
to Jared Kushner too? Because Jared Kushner had special dealings, special networks. I mean, immediately the second he got into office, there was a special connection he had.
He's also the son. Also, he's the direct son-in-law of the president, right? Like it's a way easier connection to make.
Has direct
from his job though. Like there's a difference between being like if I said someone got their job at this business for previously working with a manager, that's not like nepotism. That's like they had experience and the manager knew them, right? There's no like bad dealings being done. But if I said the manager hired them because they were related, then that's different. You know what I mean?
I think it's the same exact thing because Anothny Blinken worked with Biden when he was vice president.
Yeah, and he probably showed that he was a good worker.
Yeah, but you have to understand, Trump has been working with Jared Kushner for years. Like
he's been related to Jared Kushner for years.
For a long time, he wouldn't let him marry his daughter unless he tested them, and he has companies underneath his ownership and management, and he tested them in this way, and he trusts him, and he's his right-hand man. Basically, he lets him marry his daughter. Like this is a big honor. You're not going to give that to anybody, especially as Trump. So this is a big relationship. It's maybe even deeper than Anothny Blinken. It's a deep relationship of trust and showing his reputation. Whereas Anothny Blinken maybe seems like it's a slimy corruption case where he lobbied for Biden to put him in that position and paid him money, and basically he's been stuck with Biden ever since.
Well, I think, but the easier connection, because the problem is like you don't have to bend over backwards to make a connection between Trump and Jared Kushner. It's like right there. Right, but you have to in the case of the.
No, do you really believe so? I feel like
if your managers, hired someone they previously worked with,
something so I can look it up.
Anothny Blinken, if you want to.
So Anothny Blinken has his own lobbying company. I'm not sure if it's still active once he's been hired, but I know it was active while he was in the Barack Obama.
A lot of politicians have lobbying companies. I mean, didn't you say he owned like a defense manufacturing thing? Or
no, this is for defense specifically. It's very vague, but he mentions about defense contracting and technology and his connection with Washington. And this is all while he was in Barack Obama's administration. This is before he even got elected in office. Like Biden hooked him up, putting him in Secretary of State.
Can you? Biden appointed him, yeah. But can you just link to something talking about the corruption?
No,
well, he's talking about his position.
No, I'm not talking about corruption. I'm just saying if Jared Kushner is bad, which I don't think it's bad. I think it's this is what I'm arguing. I'm arguing there's a certain way to create a business and create these networks and dealings, and it doesn't seem illegal. It's by being as transparent as possible. And it seems like Jared Kushner was just as transparent as Anothny Blinken. So why would you put upon Jared Kushner such a big blame if you are not going to put it upon Anothny Blinken? That's the whole thing.
Well, I don't even know what Anothny Blinken did right now.
So
he's saying his position was He's saying that his position, the way he acquired it, was the corruptness through previously working with Biden. I'm assuming, right?
He literally owns a lobbying company while he was in the Barack Obama administration. So he weaseled in there. While he was a lobbyist, he paid himself into that position, Barack Obama administration. Then it grew so much while he was through the Barack Obama administration and after. Then he became the Secretary of State.
I might be crazy, but doesn't
and the defense contracts all paid off.
Like every politician has their own like PAC. They have their own super PAC, and they lobby to try to get.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, but this is every politician fundraises and has a PAC and.
I was going to say, doesn't every position? I mean, from like an obscure like viewpoint, doesn't every politician like get their position by money? Like they have to fundraise, they have to campaign, they have to network, they have to make ads, like.
Yeah, exactly. So that's what I'm saying. You guys need to give.
Jared Kushner though wasn't that circumstance. That wasn't circumstance. The money that he was given wasn't from like campaigning or wasn't from networking. We don't even know if it was from the business dealings in the Middle East because it was made by I don't even think it was by an unnamed Middle Eastern investor, right?
Yeah, see, I have no idea, but like, you think Anthony Blinken will tell you who's fucking he's lobbying for exactly? He's not gonna tell you.
Well,
This is
true,
everything underneath the table.
I just don't see a connection between these. That's what I'm trying to say. It's
There's
like
no
there doesn't seem.
connection at all. I'm just telling you, like you guys claimed, everyone has these dealings.
But
I don't
those
know.
dealings don't have a
Nonfon has
connection. I don't see
everyone
those
does a
alike.
pack. We're not talking about pack. I thought you meant everyone does these dealings.
But again, those dealings seem very
everyone
different.
has extra businesses, extra stuff on the side, and so I'm showing you here. If you're gonna hate on Jared Kushner, we're also gonna have to hate on Anthony Blinken just equally.
But they're
Because
two
we
entirely
can't do
different
that,
situations.
Huh? No, they're not.
They
They're not.
seem.
They're actually,
What's comparable
Anthony Blinken's
between those
much
two
worse,
situations?
because Anthony Blinken's position is much worse because he's been for years lobbying and basically
That's how they
getting
get
his
those
way, and now
positions.
he's in the highest position. So all this networking is actually paying off, and it's clear all of this is for money. Like, it's actually much worse corruption case than what you would show for Jared. At least for Jared, you could show that it's his expertise. He built the business, and now it's paying off. But Anthony Blinken, it's clear as day. This guy is just. He flatters himself as like, oh, all I have is these connections in Washington D.C. I can get into the Oval Office. Like, it's on his website.
How is how is it not the much more easy comparison to make to be like, well, this person did work with Biden previously, so Biden probably knew they were a person that like wanted this.
So that's
role.
what I told you. I told you Trump did the same thing. Jared Kushner is his right hand.
There was
man.
a direct, but Jared Kushner is also his son-in-law. Like, do you think that? Do you think that had a play in it? Do you think nepotism had a play in that?
So would you have a problem if? So the only problem here is that he's directly family related.
No, I'm just saying. Make sure you realize that these situations don't seem comparable. These seem like two very different situations. The main problem with Jared Kushner is that the direct area he was influencing paid him an absurd amount of money, where he was supposed to be unbiased in that area.
Yeah, but these are the closest two people I can find to each other. So it's almost the same situation. Jared Kushner has a business outside of the outside of the
Middle East,
outside of Washington. Same thing as Anthony Blinken. Anthony Blinken got in a position that's very effective, almost directly in link with his lobbying company. So it's a defense contract lobbyer. And he now is a Secretary of State. Same thing as Jared Kushner. Jared Kushner sat in the for the Middle East operations, and now he's getting money from the Middle East. And then I can also like there's so many links. It's one of the best cases I can link to each other.
I'm not barely.
And I know there's some differences, but they're so alike that we need to investigate both of them, equally. I think.
Where did he go?
What do you think, Nonfon? It was just an idea I had. I was asking him about. I was asking maybe this is a good rebuttal for this question about Jared Kushner.
Maybe I don't. So what are you saying Anthony Blinken did? Are you saying Anthony Blinken, when you say lobbying, what do you mean? What do you mean by lobbying?
He said the Discord crashed. When I say lobbying, Anthony Blinken literally has a company, and he's been lobbying for about 12 years now.
Okay, what is this company? Is this company like defense manufacturing? Is that what you're saying?
No, it's just defense contracting.
Okay, I'm back.
Defense contracting.
I don't know if Isaac found it already, but
I don't. If Anthony Blinken has a defense contracting company and he is using his position as Secretary of State to give himself favorable contracts, then it may be almost comparable to the Jared Kushner situation.
It's a consulting firm.
Consulting firm.
It's a lobbying company. It's a consulting firm. Like, it's a lobby. It's called West Exec Advisors LLC, and a lot of his employees used to be on the Barack Obama administration. It's extremely peculiar. A lot of his employees in his firm, and a lot of the founders of this firm, West Exec Advisors, are working right now. Either work with the Barack Obama administration or are working right now with the Joe Biden administration. It's like really weird. So, for example, the former President Barack Obama's Under Secretary of State for Public Diplomacy and Public Affairs is now a current employee of the West Exec Advisors LLC.
Okay, I got my camera was messing up. I am back. What are we talking about?
We're talking about Anothny Blinken still.
God bless you.
Still? I feel okay, so I'm just gonna give...
I feel like the problem... If this is a good argument against this Jared Kushner thing.
It's hard to make it comparable because there's no nepotism claim which has a stake in it. There's no claim of was there fraudulent dealings. Like, you brought up the claim as just the position. You need to also point to some corrupt dealings while he was at that position, right? It's not corrupt if they never do anything with that position. Unless it's corrupt by how they acquired it. But how he acquired it looks like he acquired it because he had previously worked under Biden, and it seems like Biden probably chose him for it again.
Listen to this. In an interview with The Intercept, Flournoy, which is a co-founder of this firm, it's Michelle Flournoy. She's connected directly to defense contractors. Look her up, Michelle Flournoy. She says explained West executive seeks to employ people recently coming out of government, quote unquote, with quote unquote current knowledge, expertise, contacts, and networks, end quote. The firm and its partners avoid becoming registered lobbyists or foreign agents so that they can re-enter government service without delays. It does not disclose its clients, whose names are restricted from disclosure by non-disclosure agreements. The firm is named after West Executive Avenue, a street near the West Wing. It's like clear-cut, direct, insane, deep. Damn, you got 100 followers?
Oh, the blue hair, yeah.
Nonfon, you need to teach me some of those fucking tricks you got. How the fuck you make the Discord look so good and on your videos? Your channel will blow up.
Oh, thank you, Manar. Hey, wait. Well, we gotta talk about this. I'll explain my secrets. It's just a thing called reactive Fujitech. But also, speaking of blowing up, Manar, you've hinted at in DMs with Isaac a debate with Destiny. Do you wanna talk about that?
Bro, so I'll show you the Discord message. You guys know Nonsmoker. He's kind of a debater guy. He does a lot of modding. I've done debates with him in the past. It's been cool. I think I've debated once. This was a long
muted.
time ago.
Why did no one let me know? I've been speaking into the abyss.
I debated. What's that dude? His name is weird, man. But you would know him. He looks like Bam Margera.
I don't know who that is. Too young, probably.
You know Bam Margera?
I don't know.
He's a skateboarder.
I see it. I'm looking at him.
He's a skateboarder, and he looks exactly like him
Jackass?
in politics. Huh?
The dude that was in Jackass?
Yeah. So there's a politics guy that looks like him, long hair, with the same eyes. And he's like a prominent guy. I forgot his name. Fuck, I bet you he's streaming right now. But yeah, I debated with him with Nonsmoker. Anyways, so Nonsmoker sends me this thing. It says, Manara, important. Are you available this Thursday at 8 p.m.? If you can. If not, can you clear your schedule? He's like, fuck you, man. You gotta be free.
That's true. He knows your content, Manar. It's true. Everyone agrees. Manar's content.
Yeah. I mean, it would have been amazing. Yeah, it would have been like, man, me and Destiny, we don't agree on anything. Look, I can get you on a panel with me to debate Destiny about Biden. So but then I don't know. I responded a couple of hours later, and he said, "Dog, I'm sorry, they filled up. I'll get you on the next one."
But the truth is, he knew that you would have destroyed Destiny, and Destiny. He was like, "Bro, I saw this dude Manar's content. I'm actually afraid of him." That's what happened. We all know.
You think so? That sounds.
I mean,
really
bro, I'm just saying. It sounds like he ducked. Sounds like he's ducking. Oh my god, you should antagonize him.
I mean, if the universe created itself, that sounds like a very.
You need to drop a video. Okay, here's an actual good strategy. Destiny is ducking me, and you just make a video going through his policies and talking shit about him, and then you clip it in his community, and his community will take it like wildfire, and it'll get to him, and you can probably agitate him into debating you.
Bro, if I knew how to,
I'd recommend that.
Like you guys, I would do it, but I don't know how to do that shit.
How to do what?
All I have is this picture. I'm gonna make this picture go viral. Make a whole 10-minute video about this one picture.
I need to stop on your stream. My Discord overlays. I mean, my OBS is going into an infinite loop.
Oh yeah.
Anyways, what do you guys think about the position? I think that was a really good argument there.
It was really hard to follow. Not because like it was like it's just not comparable in like any of the circumstances that you mentioned. You need to bring up something that's comparable. Like the easiest one is Ukraine. Like Hunter to Jared Kushner will always be that argument. It's always going to be. But yeah, it's just hard to connect this one because there doesn't seem like there was any corruptness that you can directly point to. That's another difficulty part about it. You need to have something prepared other than just his name. You need to have an action.
What's the corruption you can point to for Jared Kushner besides the
fact that
the deal he got?
So the fact that someone who was directly engaging in peace talks over an area and he was hired to be non-biased in that area, and then afterwards got had just some insane amounts of money, okay, from that direct area.
I think it was
from
$2 billion.
A party. Yeah, from one of the parties and the deals he was directly overseeing. That points to some very, very, very sketchy stuff, right?
Okay, can I mention something, guys? So if you guys are very concerned about, like, for example, a Middle Eastern dude investing with Jared Kushner, and you guys are, I'm sure this is concerning because I guess he can affect the dealings and affect the foreign affairs. You're right, relations.
That looks better, doesn't it?
Yeah, but again, this isn't a big talking point for Democrats. It's usually just a it's the same thing happening on both sides. If you want to get down to that argument.
Well, look, I'm looking at it right now. It says here under financial disclosure filed by Biden transition team in December 2020, Secretary of State nominee Anothny Blinken declared the clients of West executive included investment giant Blackstone, Bank of America, Facebook, Uber, SoftBank, pharmaceutical company Gilead, the investment bank Lazard, Boeing, AT&T, the Royal Bank of Canada. These are some of the investment firms that are directly investing into Anothny Blinken's company, co-founding company, and now Anothny Blinken is Secretary of State. If you're worried about one Middle Eastern dude investing in a financial firm, what about this guy affecting foreign affairs based on what these companies are telling him to do?
He doesn't have stake in that. Like the people who are influencing him he doesn't have stake in those arguments. Like the Secretary of State, is that what he is? That's the position, right? He's not directly overseeing peace talks between Facebook and Blackstone.
No, Secretary of State has a lot of power. It's basically what Hillary Clinton was.
But I'm just saying he's not overseeing direct peace talks between Facebook and Blackstone. The problem was that Jared Kushner was directly seeing over.
He's the foreign defense face. So the foreign face of defense for America. So
and then again, if there are some sketchy actions, it should be easy for you to find those. That's what I'm saying. It will be a strong argument if you can find some direct actions to point to.
Yeah, but I didn't think that we're gonna need that. I thought that this is all we need because I don't know if we can show like direct dealings that Jared Kushner are extremely shady. I think he would protect himself from that too. Like,
I think everyone would agree that if you were previously looking over and overseeing peace talks between two countries and a party from that country gave you $2 billion after you left your office, people would agree that's a very sketchy thing. Like that's a direct action people can point to. Like there's obviously no like blood with knife on it, right? Like they're not going to find him committing the murder as they do it, but they do have something to tie to it.
Can I say that the corruption is, for example, that this company, West Executive Advisors, is a company that hires people coming out of administrations and uses their political prowess.
I mean, that makes sense.
More contracts. Is that kind of corruption?
Kind of. The easier answer is going to be that those people. The easier answer is going to be that those people probably had experience handling contracts on the political side of it, so they were probably experienced, and they were probably like some skills were needed. Like they probably. I'm gonna assume the military company doesn't have like all of the political insight to know what to do. They don't know how to go through all the what's it called, yellow tape, blue tape, like there's a lot of things that happen politically, right? So on top of that, like it's obviously that if you are in a job that influences and direct deals with politics overall, it's probably best interest to hire people that understand the political side of it. Like we see that happen with like most industries.
Interesting, but do you share with me the concern?
If you could show an action,
any
usually
concerning patterns.
If you need an action, right? You need to show something that he's done to like point at. That's the problem. Is I can't see anything.
Man, he hired so many people once it's a rotating.
Once they left office, he did it the correct way. He didn't hire people while they were in office.
He hires them, but then sometimes they come back into office, and then
that happens.
He directly now can affect office. And then what he does also is he's got so many different investment firms.
This is a relatively chill conversation right now.
Usually
we've had more heated, hardcore debates right now.
Usually when people get to like political offices,
so I
if
guess
they
you
have
could say
like
we're
a big part of a company,
debating.
they usually divest in that company to show that those companies' interests won't be a part of them. I know Biden made a big deal about this because Trump wouldn't divest in his realtor companies when he was in office. Right, they usually it's the norm to divest from these companies that could have sway in like your decisions to make it sure you're as unbiased as can be. I'm not saying that they did that, but I would assume that if they got rehired afterwards, they would divest their share, leave their job, leave their office. I assume that's how it was handled. The problem is that you don't have an action in the contrary. That's what we're looking for here.
Yeah, it's interesting. Now I have to look at more details because that was just something I was looking at superficially. I was just gonna say maybe you would agree with me. Both of them now seems like this is business as usual in the Washington D.C. I guess people get hired and fired, and they open their own companies, and
it does seem like the norm.
Connections to
what's against the norm. The against the norm part is like the Jared Kushner money and how he got to that position, right? Like it's arguable that he got to that position from nepotism, and it's arguable that he got paid $2 billion afterwards because of his dealings that he did there, right? Those are two things that are plausible. I'm not saying that they were done. I'm not saying that it looks like they were done. I'm just saying it's plausible that those actions were undertaken, and that's like the scariest part of the argument.
All right. Let me read a little bit more about this. I want to look into articles about if Anothny Blinken might be corrupt. And Nonfon, you have any?
So you want to chat on fan while you were listening to it?
Huh? I'll send you this.
Again, in order you'd have to point to some dealing he did.
Sorry, go ahead.
You just have to be able to point to some dealing he did, and that dealing would have to be made like Blinken was acting like as the official capacity of the Secretary of State. I don't know. There not only are valid concerns, especially when it comes to like defense stuff. Like there are, Congress members, right, have investments in defense contractors. Even
Nancy Pelosi, the best stockbroker in the business. Okay.
Yeah. Well, no. Nancy Pelosi's husband. Okay.
Sorry, my bad. Yeah.
Yeah. They're not. They can't share information.
That's and they funny. Don't obviously. Rokana's wife is pretty good too.
Why would they do that?
Bro, I'm good at the stocks. What do you mean? All I had to do was shove some money into crypto.
I actually followed Nancy Pelosi when she bought Nvidia, and I made like a good $50 off of their things. I'm just saying, okay. Something tells. Sorry, Mr. Pelosi. Yeah. Whenever they bought Nvidia, they bought a big amount of Nvidia, and Nvidia jumped that day because.
Wow.
She's just a really good investor. I don't know what you mean.
One second, I gotta respond.
I don't know. I'm reading here. There's so much corruption. Like, for example, here, I'll give you one. Doesn't senior officials in the national security space come from a handful of strategic consulting firms? Hint. This is West Executive Advisors. West Exec. Let's call them West Exec, okay? That profited from political connections during the Trump years. Potential conflicts of interest in key national security fields like Middle East policy, arms sales, and ransomware throw into question the capacity of America to lead globally on ethics and good governance. So this is what a dozen of officials have a problem with Trump for. But then you look at the Biden administration, doesn't seem to grasp that its shadow lobbying undermines global anti-corruption efforts. Business partners of Biden's top diplomats, Secretary of State Tony Blinken, top diplomat, by the way, guys, continue to snag powerful roles in the administration. The most recent example is Dan Shapiro, who is under consideration to the Middle East envoy. So basically, this is exactly like Jared Kushner, but 100 million times worse. It's not the president, it's the president's top diplomat that's picking and choosing who's coming in to become the Middle East envoy. At least before that, it was Trump. Now it's Tony Blinken that makes the decision to who becomes the Middle East envoy. Isn't the Middle East envoy the same position that Jared Kushner had? Anyway, Shapiro served as Obama's ambassador to Israel He has since worked in Israel.
Anthony Blinken gets to make those decisions, right? Like that's his job to make those decisions. I would assume that's what Anthony Blinken does.
Any nepotism,
right?
Ben, where is he?
Yeah, that's his family, bro.
But speaking of, not to derail this a little bit, but I know you looked into Donald Trump being like racist. Did you end up looking into like the actual factual stuff on that?
I could say that he's. I wouldn't say 100% because that's almost.
I have a list I can give you.
But he could probably argue he is racist.
Yeah, under the Nixon administration, he was sued.
He does not like Muslims, right, Manar? You would at least agree to that.
He got something against him.
Bro, they're telling me I got wrecked on the morality debate. Did I really lose the morality
debate? I'd have to watch it. Okay, I'll watch it on
Wait, the one we have, Manar? No, that was a different one. I've done so many different ones. But it was a whole different one.
Just to put a bow on it, yeah. Under the Nixon administration, Trump Management Corporation got sued because there was evidence that he refused to rent to black tenants. There was the Central Park 5. He put out news articles saying like bring back the death penalty, like literally kill them. And then once it got found out, there was DNA evidence that proved them innocent. Even after that, he still said they're guilty. Like, I think it was like while he was running, he was asked if he still thinks they're guilty. He said yes. Even though there is direct DNA evidence that says the contrary now. Yeah. I mean, those are the two biggest I really need.
Sure. I can give you that. Personally speaking, I think
Trump was pretty racist.
Has something sick with him that I do not agree with. And this is something that you see a lot of older people have. It's the sickness. It's like this old mentality. I don't know. I hope I'm not like that, but they're very belligerent and very racist. A lot of these older folks.
I mean, hey, looks like Biden's doing pretty well for his old age. We just don't look at what he did in Congress in the 1980s. Okay.
I don't want to bring it up, but yeah, his younger days. I guess his older days.
People point to the crime bill that he made, but that wasn't that racist.
Now he's transsexual, so he doesn't care.
He did say something about school becoming a racial jungle. That was a pretty crazy era.
You know what I don't get though is that like it seems like conservatives for a while did not care about like racial inequities in policing at all until suddenly when Biden's running for president and Biden orchestrated a crime bill. They are suddenly now willing to admit that crime bill did have disproportionate effects on black people.
Yeah.
But I never understand. It's like, who do you think is better going to address those issues, Biden or Trump?
Yeah. So my problem is, man, Biden just seems like he's sleeping. Like he's not mentioning anything.
I mean,
compared to Trump is literally sleeping in court.
You remember back in the days when Trump would wake up every morning and do a fucking press conference himself? That was.
I mean, that's just because he loved hearing himself talk.
Bro. Yeah, that's.
That's just because he loves hearing himself talk.
I know, but that was the good old days.
But also, I know. Okay, let's take the Etch-a-Sketch, right? Let's shake it clean, okay?
Man. And now we don't even see Biden doing shit. It just feels like.
I mean, there's always been press secretaries. But let's shake everything clean. Let's shake the Etch-a-Sketch.
Go ahead.
Let's shake the Etch-a-Sketch. Okay, so all clean slate. Okay, what do you look for in a president? Like, what do you personally look for? What are your biggest qualities that you want to see?
Man, I'm the wrong person to ask, man, because
I just want to know.
I'm an Arab, so I need somebody really honest, noble. I need somebody that his country can vouch for him, his community can vouch for him. I want somebody that has no scandals. If you have a scandal, I think you're like a sex scandal, let alone like a regular money scandal. If you have like a sex scandal, like where's the honest people anymore? Like if you're going to be leading me in my position, you're going to be in a position of power over me. I need to be able to trust you. I need transparency from you. I need to be able to make sure that you're not a corrupt person. And all of these guys seem fucking corrupt as fuck. Like everyone.
I assume you also want them to be a follower, like want to follow Islam or accepting of Islam. I assume is a big thing to you as well.
I mean, this is if I'm in a secular community, this is what I should be. I'm not even gonna get there. Like I'm not even completely gonna get there because this is totally different. This is like. if I can put Sharia law, of course, I would only look at the smartest one of us, the only the Hafiz of the Quran. Like, you think I'm gonna let somebody leading me and he doesn't know any? He can misstep on the Quran. Like, if I test him and I say, hey, which verse is this? And the verse 25, 23, after he says this, what does he say? And he fails. I think he's loses that position. I mean, he has is a very big. You know what I mean? I have a lot of. He needs to get win a lot of testing from me, and so that's another discussion totally. But what I'm trying to give you guys is your own secular communities. You would at least look at something like honesty as the number one, virtue, character, something you need to look at, because what else can give you what the next 4 years is going to look like for you guys? If he's corrupt and he has these business dealings, why are you so sad? Why are you surprised when you figure out that he didn't drain the swamp and none of your politics went through?
You want them to, what are strengths you look for then? Because I know those are a lot of negatives. Well, do you want them to be economically? Do you want them to be free trade? Do you want them to be more made in America? What do you look for?
I want them to be, first of all, virtuous people. So I want to make sure that they've started businesses and completely did everything the right way, even though it was hard. They did it completely the right way. I want to be able to make sure, they've been sued.
Yeah,
of course, everyone gets sued, but I want to make sure that they're not doing anything wrong and they passed these sues or they've been dismissed or whatever. So I actually have a big litmus test. I mean, if you're going to be leading my country, it's a big thing. You're going to have to be prowess in every way. You have to be a fucking doctor. You have to be a very knowledgeable person in science. You have to be a very knowledgeable person in finance. You have to be a very knowledgeable person in public speaking and character. You have to be a tall person. I don't want a short fucking leader. Shit like that, man. I know it's kind of sounds ridiculous, but you're gonna be leading me. You gotta be showing me that you are worthy of leading me. You know what I mean?
I'm not gonna be able to look towards the leader. Yeah.
And now you might know a little bit about why this country is very dismissive of everybody and why they can see a glimmer of hope on Trump. Maybe they don't see him that he's gonna be the guy that leads them through the battlefield. But at least he's the beginning. They can grasp onto something. They have nothing else to grasp onto. What is it, Kamala Harris? Do you want them to hold on to her? Yuck. Or you want him to hold on to Biden? Yikes. He's going to fall if anybody touches him.
So I generalized the things you gave me. So I feel like the biggest qualities you look for in this are honesty, trustworthy, accepting of religion, and virtuous. Would that be a good summary?
Not necessarily accepting of religion, but I would say virtuous, and it's gonna come out of there. Yeah.
Okay, so his virtuousness would make him accepting, not directly.
Yeah, if he's a virtuous person, it doesn't make him moral decisions. Basically, it's very hard for him to do so.
So when you said that you wanted him to be accepted by his country and accepted by his community, I mean, not to switch to the general point, I feel like a lot of these are just so against Trump.
No. For example, you have to be a prominent figure and in the community, which is what Trump is.
Well, let's go point by point. You said
liked. Yeah,
you said trusted as well.
And how can you say Trump is not respected? He has some of the best. He has some of the biggest network with some of the biggest folks in the world.
But then look at those two things you said. You said trusted by his country and trusted by his community. The people he previously worked with disavow him and talk about all the evil things he's done. They've even pursued criminal prosecution. Then when it comes to his country trusting him, his country is currently taking him to court, right? Both of those things are negative to him.
The way I look at it is this is yeah, sure. Maybe I might actually agree with you that Trump is actually a very bad president. Yeah, but what's your other? Give me the other.
The alternative.
Give me alternative. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, you win.
Joe Brandon,
Trump is
baby.
bad. What's the alternative?
So while I agree, Biden does have some shortcomings. Okay, I would agree with you there. I feel like when you look at one, he's he has the experience. Actually, let me go to my dick sucking page. Okay, Biden has extensive experience in the government. He's served vice president from 2009 to 2017. He has been a U.S. senator for 36 years. When you look at he knows how to he knows what he's doing, right? I don't think when it comes to him, he's going to run us into the ground like Trump did with his deficit spending. When it looks on, I know you're going to disagree with me on this, but on social issues, he was the one who actually pushed for gay marriage being legalized, not Obama, which is funny because Obama has the claims of dating a man now on conspiracy theory websites. But he was the one who was the big push for that against Biden, right? I mean, against Obama. And then when you look at how he handled COVID-19, I think he handled it a lot better than Trump did. And I feel like it's an unfair judgment to judge people on how they speak, right? Like if we judge people on how they spoke, like we would consider Stephen Hawking an idiot, right? Like we've never, I don't understand what the unfair judgment of we've never judged people on how they speak. I agree him falling, that man, we need to get that man on a gym regimen, okay? That's something I would be for, okay? But optically, he does not look strong, I agree with you, but I don't think optically not looking strong has ever been a reason to hand wave like what a person says. Like if we did that, like we'd cut off so much of the world.
I feel like most of his actual decisions have signaled strength, like his handling of Israel, especially with the like Iran attacks, his handling of Ukraine and giving them all the funding they need. I feel like we've done a decent job at signaling strength through his actions, at least. Even if you think optically Biden looks weak because he's old.
Okay, you guys talked about how he has some extensive experience, and this extensive experience is why he should be in office, because it really can
career politician,
develop into something big. But my question is, where do we see him using this extensive experience in the past 4 years? Can you guys point?
He was able to pass an infrastructure bill that Donald Trump couldn't pass. Like in Donald Trump's 4 years of trying to pass it,
the infrastructure bill shows his inexperience. He came into the office mentioning
and got a bill passed that Trump couldn't.
That Trump couldn't for 4 years. And it was a bipartisan bill too. He had thinner margins than Trump.
Can I finish, guys? He came into office saying he's the bipartisan guy, and he's going to bring bipartisanship into office. The infrastructure bill took almost a year to get passed, all because of one motherfucker and Christina Cinema, whatever her name is. And he couldn't even unify his own party, let alone try to unify the bipartisanship. So I'm trying to. Can you explain to me what is this experience looking like? I can't see this experience being presented in any way, shape, or form the past 4 years.
The easiest answer is that when you're talking about bipartisan, you're talking about both parties coming to the table, which Trump was.
He couldn't even get his own party to agree with each other.
Wait. Trump had a majority in Congress and he couldn't get stuff passed. Biden against the same. Actually, did he? I think he did. Okay, I might be wrong, but even either way, I'm talking about in Congress. I think Trump had a majority in all. He might not have. Okay,
for his first 2 years, he did.
Yeah. Okay. So Trump at one point had a majority in Congress and he still couldn't pass that bill. Biden against a majority that is against him got that bill passed. That same bill. So he's shown that he can make both sides come to the table.
You talking about the infrastructure bill?
Yes.
Bro,
that was a bill Trump couldn't pass.
6 months to almost 12 months, 6 to 12 months.
Still got passed. Yes,
and
but
all
it did.
Because of one motherfucker that Biden had direct relationship with and loved and kept touted such big words about him, but kept saying that he can't really influence too hard. I mean, Biden really didn't do anything. All his expertise was useless. Actually, it feels like Biden wasn't the one that solved that issue. It was the capitulation. No, it was the capitulation of the progressives that solved that issue.
True. And who caused that capitulation? Donald Trump couldn't. On the other side.
No, but the problem is, you guys are. The biggest thing you guys like about Biden's expertise, you cannot show he presented it in any way. He actually failed in every way when he tried to present his expertise, whatever, his bipartisanship. He can't even get his own party to agree with him. It was disgusting, man. It was a capitulation by the progressives. It was actually very disheartening. You guys remember? It was the moment we knew that Biden didn't give a fuck about us, and the Democrats and even the progressives themselves didn't give a fuck about us, because they started talking such good words about Biden immediately afterwards. It was kind of really fucking disheartening.
But again, though, it's crazy. Like, you can say that what he did, like, if it was bad bipartisanship, I mean, there's a case to be made, but it was still bipartisanship that was gotten done, right? When you look at it, like, Trump couldn't get it passed. That's what I point to. So, like, when you look at the bipartisanship being done, you can say that it's bad, but it's still better than Trump. And I agree, that is a horrible way to characterize presidential elections. But under this one, we're in a two-party system. You only have two options. You're going to look at who's the better option.
But what I was looking at the infrastructure bill, I saw that there was so many opportunities that Biden could have, for example, increased funding, allowed for more, basically could have not forced the progressive to capitulate and fixed it himself, and it seemed like all this expertise was utilized for nothing. I don't think he was the one to even solve the problem. So what's the use? Like, you can't even give it upon him. This infrastructure bill is not even contributed to him, and it was supposedly his biggest accomplishment. He came to office saying this is going to be the biggest bill in history, and he's going to solve world hunger
wants that to happen,
hunger,
though. That's what Manar wants.
By 50%. Did nothing of the sort.
I mean, America is leading the world in aid packages currently. Isn't that the case? like by $300 million compared to like the next one, which is like 90.
For what?
I'm pretty sure by aid packages by like millions. I think America is currently at like 319, and then
yeah, 319.
And the next up is the entirety of the European Union, and it's at like 90.
Yeah.
I would say America is about 330. You're right. But under Trump, I don't know how he was able to do it, but he was able to create a very strong economy. Unemployment was really down. I know he had a pandemic.
So the way he did stuff, though, was not the way we're supposed to do it. He took funding from the DOJ to get funding to his border wall because he couldn't get a bill passed through Congress, right? Like, what he's doing doesn't look like a good person at all. Whenever, if you had a manager and they couldn't get corporate to help them on something and they instead stole it from somewhere else and then did it anyway to piss off corporate, like, that's not a good manager.
You're right. There are some points you can call out Biden that he seemed like he wasn't a politician at all. It seemed like he was almost like a mafia boss. Like it was my way or the highway. Get the fuck out of here.
That was Trump I was describing.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Okay, you said Biden.
You're right. We could say that Trump looked like that and forced like that. But I would argue that that's why people liked him. It seemed like that's the problem
today, is that people like him because of him being a criminal.
It seemed like he was the only force that's actually ready to put himself on the line to say the thing that nobody will ever say and stand in the way of the, like, I guess I don't want to say it in a bad way like that, but the oppression, like the opposite. I'm not saying oppression like oppression.
Yeah, I got you.
And stand in the way of it and force and say, no, it's gonna go my way. I don't care what you think. And I know it's totally not political. It's not diplomatic in any way. But I feel like it was very attractive. People actually
it's fairly political. It's authoritarian, like is how it is, and that is why people like him. Is because people do like the fascists in him. Like it's crazy that the Republicans are like supporting the most fascist president candidate we've seen in like the last 80 years, right? Like it's crazy. These are the same Republicans that if you showed them if you showed them the word fascist, they'd be upset, and they don't know today that they're supporting one.
If it was like that in every single way, form, or shape, I would tell you, you're right. This is an authoritarian person.
Definitely.
But it seemed like he was really the decision maker. He was the final sayer in a couple of bills and stuff, but it was rarely that he was influencing something really big. He picked and chose actually his fights. He was very, very strategic.
True, and every time he chose one, it ended up probably being illegal, right? Like we saw that with the Georgia Rico case. We're seeing that now with Mar-a-Lago. It seems like you're right. He did pick his battles, but every time he had a battle, it was done illegally, right? I agree. Comparing him to a mobster was probably the best comparison you could think of. You're right. He is powerful and he does stuff illegally. But the president, should we say
illegal? Because I was looking at this, for example, the Muslim ban.
I'm not calling a Muslim ban. I'm calling about Georgia Rico.
It was illegal, but it looks like the Supreme Court is
like an unhinged Nazi kleptocrat symbiosis.
Yeah, I'm not calling that. I think they challenged the idea that he could make that executive order, and they found that he couldn't, which is probably right.
We're thinking about the same Ukraine.
So that's pretty impressive.
The interim government did have some bad people in it. Luckily, that interim government lasted, I think, less than a year before they voted out. That wasn't like a criminal challenge against him. That was against like his action as president, right? Like against the 88 indictments that he's currently facing. We're seeing different
legal precedents. The only legal precedents we have when it comes to Trump, really, and indictments against him, and some indictments against him
are the 88 federal indictments.
Yeah, and it seems like some of them actually are bogus. Like basically, even the Supreme Court can claim that this is a dismissal of a case.
I haven't seen any single one be characterized as bogus. Which one are you referring to when you say that?
Well, no, like not bogus, but like being saying that, hey, don't, no, this is not actually illegal. You're actually completely legal in the way you.
I haven't seen anyone say that either. I even when he was arguing
the Supreme Court upheld one of his executive orders.
That was there they were challenging whether he had the power to do that action, not whether that action was inherently illegal. It's the same thing with the Supreme Court going on currently.
The Supreme Court actually ruled that he was committing an illegal thing.
No, the Supreme Court ruled that his action was illegal, like he had the power to do that. It wasn't whether the substance of that bill was legal or illegal, is whether the action that he took to get that bill using that executive order, was the way he did that legal or illegal. That was what they were pushing. Did it violate the Constitution? I think was another question. But again, they're just challenging whether he had the power to do that with an executive order.
Okay, but can you tell me anything that they found that he was completely illegal in doing? Like, what is something that was challenged through the court, completely won all appealings, and is now a precedence?
I mean, there's the fraud trial he's currently undertaking. The one that he lost and was ordered to pay. True, it's being appealed, but it's still guilty, right? You don't call it. It's not under appeal until it's accepted as under appeal. It's still guilty.
Something that's totally done that they found about him that has
totally
nothing to do with his past. This is the new thing. And it has to do with Russia collusion, something that's like 100% guaranteed he's illegal. Because we keep talking about how he's committed this illegal thing, committed that illegal thing. I'm saying you might be able to claim it's illegal, but not necessarily. It seems like every time it's challenged, he's able to figure out weasel out a way using his fucking genius lawyers to claim that either.
Let me tell you about them genius lawyers. Okay.
Yeah, how many lawyers are now co-defendants?
So yeah, most of his lawyers are now against him when it comes to the court trials because they've taken plea deals, okay, to testify against him to get lesser sentences. On top of that, first, that you're really telling me like where is he guilty currently? He's pushing court case he's currently in until election because he wants to pardon himself of those because he's fucked if those go to trial. So first there's that, and then secondly, when it comes down to it, like he is guilty on that one on the fraud trial. Like he said, point to something where he's guilty. He's guilty. Like of course it's under appeal, but that doesn't matter, right? It's not. I don't even think it's been accepted as under appeal. I think the motion has just been put in, and of course the motion is going to put in. Like that's just a normal thing. Like in spaces like these, how many like times do you see a boxer lose a fight and then instantly appeal the fight just because they're afraid to lose?
Bro, but that's the right thing to do. Your fucking criminal courts are.
I'm not saying that it's.
You don't need evidence, especially if it's a civil case too. Holy shit, not even a criminal case. Let alone a criminal case, you even necessarily need to appeal because criminal cases you actually get a better appeal case. I think.
How do you feel about the fact that he's? How do you feel about the fact that he's like pushing back all of his trials until after like the election day so he could pardon himself as a potential option?
How do you feel about your ex-president being fucking ransomed and blackmailed in the court justice system and lawfared against? Like you need to answer that.
I believe in our justice system, so I think that if a jury finds him guilty or if a president finds him guilty, that the evidence that was provided by the state was probably strong enough to find him guilty. It's the way our justice system works. Either have faith in it or you don't.
It's really horrifying. You're not scared that they're going to go after Biden after he leaves office and then after Barack Obama?
If they can find something, isn't it like, don't you ever question like, why is it only Trump who has all these cases under his belt? Like even Nixon, who arguably did a lot of illegal things.
This is your president. They're going after him for a fucking
ex-president, okay, and hopefully
not president. Star and some fucking a building like.
Well, true, but those are civil cases. Those are brought civilly, right?
Oh wow! Thanks for the follow. Why do you believe in the justice system? Hey, listen, we have one of the best justice systems in the world, baby. Defendants get a lot of rights. You're innocent until proven guilty. You have a right to a trial by jury. It has to be beyond a reasonable doubt. You can appeal.
You just described it. He has done.
I mean, there are issues with it.
And even when they got to the highest,
there are issues with it for sure. But we have a lot of goddamn rights here. Okay. It is pretty easy to lose a sexual assault case if you're a public figure that admits to sexually assaulting people. Has done it many times, yeah.
He's a criminal. He's like, he's been guilty, but it's under appeal. That means you need to relax. Like a lot of appeal.
So under appeal means nothing. Okay, under appeal means just that they didn't like the decision. Like, of course they didn't. And also, when you say the Supreme Court supports him, do you have faith in the justice system or not? Because you seem to flip flop on those whether.
Yeah, I mean, he does have rights. He does. If he came back to the U.S., he would be given a trial. Now, he will argue that trial isn't fair because Julian Assange's position is that he isn't actually given a fair trial because he's not allowed to say the reason why he leaked the documents. For whatever reason, the way the law is written, it doesn't give him the power to state why he leaked the documents, basically. Which I think is kind of dumb. Yeah, but like even he does have the right to a fair trial. Yes, even he has those rights. And also, like, there are checks and balances. The president can pardon Assange if he wanted to. If he wanted to, the president could just do that. There are checks and balances. So even where the justice system fails, there are checks and balances that make sure that certain things don't happen. Yeah.
So what we're going to do is we're going to have the people see what you've done and see if the people think you are guilty. So that's what it comes down to.
But can't you show precedents of cases that basically they didn't have enough witnesses, they needed a little bit more evidence, they needed something a little bit more? You can show a lot of cases like that, and a lot of these cases had much more evidence than this girl. Holy shit!
What do you mean
this
by
girl
that?
doesn't even have
he
a
hasn't
DNA
stood
kit.
trial.
No, she doesn't even remember the date, so no police report of that date. How do you believe somebody that doesn't even make a police report of them being assaulted like this?
I don't personally believe them because I've never heard their argument. I believe that a jury found them guilty, and I believe that the jury was shown enough reasonable evidence to find them guilty.
So
I agree with you.
When you give me the evidence,
what do you mean
and I'm a
trial? I
reasonable
mentioned
person,
the
I'm a
one
logical
thing,
person. Would you
which
say
is
I'm a
his
logical
position
person,
that they
or
don't
do
let him get a fair
Uh,
trial just
In
because
some forms, you are you have a lot of secular beliefs.
You
so
can't
obviously,
state why he
well,
leaked
yeah,
the
you have a lot of secular
documents,
beliefs. So
but-
obviously, some of it's not logical.
You're
It's
gonna
secular.
fucking roast me, anyways.
Well, to believe in God isn't like
What's
there's no
the
logical conclusion. Yeah. Not that it's illogical, but it's not like that's not a logical conclusion you come to in that circumstance, right? That's because you have faith, which is like a good thing and a bad thing. Like you can say it's either.
Well, I forgot what I was talking about. I laughed too hard.
You said, "Am I a logical person?" Because you viewed the evidence, and that's where we ended off.
So yeah, if you're a logical person, you look at the evidence and you say, okay, is this evidence something I can trust? Then you are a logical person. You've tested yourself. It seems like you're a logical person. You look at the history of how people do courts. You look at their evidences and their preponderance or evidence and their needs. And you've seen before, it's almost impossible to get a person on one witness at every single court to use two witnesses.
That the presidential pardon is literally a check on the judicial system. That is what the presidential pardon exists for. It is a check on the judicial system.
Recording,
I don't know. They go to 8th grade civics and they teach you that.
You should be able to.
What happened like in Geriaxes? I mean, he still pops in from time to
basically,
time.
you need to be able to look at his phone records and pinpoint that he was in that location at the same time. Stuff like that.
You buy that theory? What do you mean I buy that theory? That is a statement of fact. The presidential pardon is a check on the justice system. Maybe what's the argument against that?
And so this is ridiculous.
That's what it is.
I can look at a claim.
You can say maybe it's not used, but it's very person by person, favor pending case. That doesn't change the fact that it is a check on the justice system. Just because the president may abuse that check on the justice system doesn't mean it's not a check on the justice system.
Believe in that system.
But what you described is like this is what you would look for. I mean, they do have that. There's a process where they go through what evidence they have and they bring it up. If let's say I am the defense and I say, hey, this is to the prosecution. I'm like, this is evidence I'm going to provide, and they're like, well, we don't disagree with it. We disagree with this evidence. They will bring that up to the judge on a separate time period and be like, hey, this is like, they'll have a court meeting without a jury and they'll say why they think this evidence should be included. And then the prosecution will say why it shouldn't be.
No, they're both streamers. They're Manar and
whether
Isaac.
they can rule that in or out. And that's even happened during court cases because I know that was a big part of the Kenosha Kyle Rittenhouse trial was that they were trying to show some video of him, I think, hitting a woman as like a character reference to show that he's like a bad person. And the judge was like, I don't think that has any stake in this case, so I'm going to disallow that.
Well, either he believed they're innocent or he was just doing it for his own personal gain. But again, just because they abuse it doesn't mean it's not a check on the judicial system. That's what it is.
What I want to get to is, yes, everyone's corrupt. You have to understand, I'm coming from a position, I'm actually completely centrist on this position. This is actually one position you will find me as a centrist on, is that I will accept any president that you can prove to me is a good president. And the only one I can see that's done better, when I compare Trump versus Biden, I see corruption in both. I see really shady histories. I see really disgusting.
You can say that. That's fine. Doesn't change the fact that it's a check on the judicial system. I don't necessarily have a problem with presidential pardons. I don't know.
Anyways, so their characters.
But there's no evidence for Joe, though.
I haven't thought about it.
Yeah, you're right. No evidence. Yeah, except that his son is a crackhead. Whatever.
True, actually true.
Evidence. You know, the guy has issues.
Yeah, but he has you can point to that. True. Yeah.
Anyways. So the thing is, and even he calls him his fucking father, Pedo Pete, in his phone. I mean, that's fucking crazy. Anyways, so my position here is
it is in fact based off British common law. I think it's based on the king being able to pardon people.
I'm actually neutral. Like both presidents are trash.
The founders did take inspiration from
both presidents.
the British
I don't
system.
want to be lead me. I will never let them lead me. But when I actually compare, now if we're talking about the, I'm a reasonable person, I'm a logical person, I'm looking into the deep meats and potato, I'm also a hungry person, but, I'm looking into the falafel, the hummus, and the falafel situation.
Gotcha.
I'm getting into the falafel of the hummus of the situation, and what I'm looking at is Trump, through his 4 years, looks so much fucking sexier, looks so much better for the American people, did so much more in the political front face, as the face of America, as the face of foreign politics. for America. He did so much good things when it comes to foreign affairs wise. Israel loved him, Saudi Arabia loved him, Russia loved him. Everyone really appreciated him, even North Korea, which is unbelievable. One of our biggest enemies. We've been sanctioning them to oblivion for many years. China loved him. I'm just saying, man, it seems like when we compare the two, one guy is a corrupt guy that is just sitting and oozing out corruption, whereas the other guy, at least he has a
Dude, I can't
semblance
believe
of
Israel loved him. Why did Israel love him? Oh, because he supported Israel's annexation of the Golan Heights, and he moved the embassy to Jerusalem.
Like a press conference. Are you kidding me? Is that the only president that ever did that? Like, I mean,
there was radio. One of the ones was famous for doing radio talks every night. I don't remember who it is. My history.
Well, yeah, like it's so rare to see something like that, and you would see him every morning.
Can I pose you a hypothetical?
So strong, and he would tweet all the time. You would feel connected to him. You would feel like you could actually talk to him, and he would advocate for you. Whereas this guy, he just seems like he's floating in space. So if we're gonna compare the two, let's get there. Let's not talk about this guy's more corrupt. Let's talk about their accomplishments necessarily, because I agree with you. Both of them are trash. Character-wise, they're trash.
Hosting a debate on your stream thing, because it's an interesting conversation that I'm being in.
So let's say you're at a party, right, and you're with your friend,
and they drag me into this.
Oh my god. Is it one of your parties, blue-haired parties?
No. It's okay.
It's the woke party.
I'm not being those allegations. It's the woke party.
The no t-shirt party, no clothes party.
Jesus Christ, no.
You never heard
let's say you're at a party. Let's say you're at a. I mean, I've heard of everyone's heard of them. Okay. Fucking what's the? It's in. There's a really good horror movie where it's a comedy horror movie. It's with Marlon Wayans, and there's a really good joke about that. But let's say you're at a party with your friend, okay, and a registered pedophile comes to the party, okay, and then another registered pedophile comes to the party, and then another registered child predator comes to the party, okay, and your friend is hanging out with all three of them. You're not gonna look at that and be like, wow, he's so nice. Even the pedophiles like him. You're gonna be like, why the fuck is he with those pedophiles? I feel like the same as when it comes to our enemies. Shouldn't the same be the same? Why is he being so friendly with our enemies and leaving behind the UK? Why is he pulling out of the Paris peace agreement that we've agreed to? Why is he pulling out, like, when it comes to our friends, why is he being mean to our friends and nice to our enemies? I feel like it's crazy how Republicans will have that view of he was speaking with our enemies nicely. Like, if I see a dude hanging out with pedophiles at a barbecue, I'm not gonna be like, wow, he's so friendly. I'm gonna be like, what the fuck?
Wait. Are you calling North Korea a pedophile?
No, I'm saying that they're our enemy, right? We don't have a good view on them.
We shouldn't be buddy with them.
The problem is you are an arm of power. So you as a citizen, you have no power. So of course you're going to stay away from the pedophile. But you as the counselor, you're the advisor, you're the judge, you're going to get close to the guy. You're going to be face to face with him. You're going to talk to him. You're going to tell him, you're going to enforce upon him your laws. So yeah, this is a different class.
But none of those were done.
Sorry?
Yeah, like what did North Korea? What happened in North Korea after Trump did the? I think
we talked about this. Is just going to be a reoccurring argument because we've already had this argument. But again, yeah, at the same time he was there, they were demolishing communally built buildings between North and South Korea, right? Like they unveiled a new nuclear ballistic missile while he was actually, I think it was like a day after he left. They unveiled it, right? Like this is, it's not like he got anything done.
The only thing he accomplished was a photo op, which just ended up legitimizing Kim Jong-un. It just ended up legitimizing him as a leader, and nothing actually got done.
Who was better at actually trying to denuclearize?
No, I think he's Syrian.
Korea. Was it Biden or is it Trump? Biden, who hasn't even said one word about Korea this whole fucking 4 years, or Trump that actually strengthened the relationship? Went and met with the guy, told him, "Hey, listen, we want to make a deal with you. I'm serious about this. Let's get there. Let's you and the South Korea get to meet each other." I mean, he did something unbelievable. I can't believe this.
True. I'll give you that. Yeah, I give that as a pro. The problem is right after I give him also the con of he didn't get anything done though. Like it was a pretty cool photo. Right?
That's true, but we always look at the pioneers like Martin Luther King. We're going to say, what the fuck, he's a loser.
He got a lot of, but he got shit done. He got bills done.
As that statue, you know?
But listen, you understand that he got so much done, right? Like, that's why we look to him. That's why he is the pioneer. That's why you named him and not Malcolm X.
That wasn't necessary. You're trying to say, let's leave these drug dealers or whatever, pedophiles, leave them alone. I'm sure I'm demonetized at this point. Fuck you, man. He said that.
True, yeah.
He said it like 100 times, bro.
Don't worry, just, I might have, but listen, it's fine, okay?
Nonfon's producer and his editing team is gonna.
Yeah, his Mossad agent. His Mossad agent is already DMing him to run.
Oh yeah.
But anyways, I don't even remember what we were talking about.
But yeah, I feel like that the
Mayhem
way
we
easier
are right
point
now.
to that Deep's
I mean,
like,
this is
he didn't
one
get
of the
anything
more
done as a
chill.
prompt.
This is more of a
That's what I'm afraid
conversation
of
than the
before maybe
debate right
Trump,
now.
because I'm afraid he's not going to get shit done, right? I'm afraid
Oh
that.
yeah, so North Korea, we look at him as a pioneer. We look at him as he did something. You're trying to say, let's leave these guys. These are drug dealers. These are pedos. Leave them alone. Trump was like, that's Biden's approach.
What he did
The
basically
wrong
was point a
approach
light
when
and
it
say,
comes
hey
to
guys,
diplomacy.
look at this drug dealer. No one talked to them, is what he
Yeah,
did,
it's
right?
like
Like
what
that's
he
even
does is he's
worse.
like, hey, hello, hey, I heard you've been doing some bad things. We need to talk.
And
Holy
then nothing
shit,
got
man. Are you
done. So
kidding
all he
me?
did was point a light at them, right? Like
Well,
it
because
doesn't
he
But that's
literally
what the judge does. He stands up in front of
handed
the
Kim
guy
Jong
for the
Un a
first time.
W because Kim
This
Jong
is
Un
the
was
time
able
he
to.
stands up. Sorry, go.
Kim Jong Un was literally able to deliver this photo op to his people. Like it was a W for Kim Jong Un.
It's amazing. Yeah, why not? Because
We
America's
shouldn't
been
be giving
sanctioning
Kim Jong Un
North
Ws.
Korea. Yeah, America's been sanctioning and destroying North Korea. Trump was like, "Man, listen, this political way is not working. I know that better way. I'm a business guy. I wrote books on this shit. You guys hired me because I'm a business guy.
But isn't it crazy to call
I'm
him a
gonna
business
get
guy, but
this
he
to
didn't get
work
a
in a
deal
different
done?
way." Sorry.
You would at least expect a business guy to get like a deal on the table, right?
I don't know,
Like
man. Did he not have a
Dennis
deal?
Rodman has a
I
better
feel like he
chance.
had a deal and then it squashed. I think there was some kind of treaty or some kind of promise, and then
There was a
Biden
deal to
didn't go with
exchange.
it.
There was a deal to exchange. I think prisoners of war and dead soldiers. I think was part of it.
I'm sure
I
that
think I could be
actually
wrong.
went through.
I think it did, but again, that's literally nothing. Like
I think Biden
no offense
just
to those dead
Biden.
people.
No,
You're
no,
bringing
no.
back
You know
dead
what
people.
happened was when Biden came, he fucking literally squashed it. I think
Of course,
look
because
it
he
up.
said he said let's delegitimize this power. Let's say we don't
Yeah,
even
yeah,
talk
yeah.
to
That's
them.
the first thing he did is he started removing the executive orders that Trump had placed to try
Yep.
to, especially when it
Mess with
comes to
that
foreign
oil
affairs. Yeah,
pipeline too. Yeah, because he's big on the
yeah, like he
climate.
stopped the Syrian order return troops. Yeah, yeah, I remember.
He also, yeah. How do you feel? Because I don't want to be wrong. Okay, I'm not trying to get canceled on Twitter. You're Syrian, aren't you?
Who?
You.
Did I do what? I'm Syrian.
Are
Yeah.
you? I'm sorry. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So like, then how do you feel that he was like directly banning people from? Like, shouldn't that have like
Bro, don't
a
get me
stronger
canceled
connection?
now. The guys don't get
Oh
me
no.
canceled.
Okay. Never mind then. Never mind.
Can I say it without you guys calling the CIA and FBI?
What do you, bro? I mean, they might be here. We're talking about politics, bro.
I don't know.
I would say I wouldn't. Not on stream.
Bro, I'm directly connected with the cartel. Bro, I speak.
Also,
Oh
bro,
god, they're coming to your door. They're coming to your door tomorrow.
We've talked about this before.
No, look, I have cousins on Facebook with the president, and I have cousins on Facebook against the president. They make memes against each other.
That's crazy.
It's not only warfare; it's meme warfare as well. Anyways, what?
But I feel like that should be like a really strong like reason why you should not like that president, right? Like he's very racist against Muslims. Like that should be a big connection.
He's a racist piece of shit. Yeah. No. Yeah, but what's the better fucking arm? Kamala Harris? What are you gonna give me? Kamala Harris? Is that what you're gonna give me? Fuck that.
Hopefully
shit.
not. Yeah, I haven't looked into her
Harris is
policies. A
the
lot of people
biggest
hate. I need to look
in
into
the
her
world.
policies. I haven't done. I'm gonna do a research stream on her policies. I've heard
Yeah,
that a lot of people don't
research
like
her. She's
policies.
disgusting. Like she could have at least showed fucking semblance of her politics and diplomacy when she said we need a ceasefire, and she should have just shut the fuck up there, and she would have sounded so dramatic and cool. Then she had to say for 6 months and ruined everything, proving that she's a fakester. But this is the thing.
Well,
they have to prove. They have to show you when they're in public. They have to prove that they're fakesters, and that's why, man, it's so crazy because they could easily just. Because I know that a lot of it is like
Aesthetic. It's one of my biggest pet peeves. Yeah, one of my biggest pet peeves is a lot of people, especially in the Democratic side of the argument, love the aesthetic of being a Democrat, but don't like the actual policy behind it. Yep, I hate these type of people. Manar, I shouldn't send you the clip.
Is better?
Too, though. Like,
yes, you need to look optically good. The problem is though is when you use your optics to further a movement that you're not optically putting out.
Thank you for giving me audio. Listen, nobody ever fucking gives me tells me when the audio's off.
You saw the clip, Manar.
No, what's wrong?
I kind of yelled at someone a while ago because of that reasoning, right?
Yeah, you tell me about that story. What happened? Yeah, he
hold on.
Sorry, what happened? Yeah,
hold on.
Sorry, what happened?
What's wrong with it?
Yeah,
It seems relatively fine. And it's too early for this shit. Oh yeah, it's fine. Okay. I don't know. No one ever tells me my audio's off, and when I go to edit, it's like, oh, my audio's fucked. I'm like, why didn't someone in chat say something? I appreciate when you guys say something.
But and then I see that I get poked, like it's just one poke was the trolling. Then he pokes me again, calling me a Nazi, or sorry, implying I was a Nazi. By the way, he still says, well, I didn't call you a Nazi. It's very obvious that's what his goal was, okay? But he replied, I'm a Nazi, and I still did not even break. I still didn't I didn't poke back. Then he goes, then Nonfon actually goes, do you got any response to that, Isaac? Stoking the flame a little, but in a funny way. Okay, it's his content. I expect it. I don't know.
Oh wait, you're talking about NOK Live.
I actually was better than that. Yeah, I was actually better than that. I didn't blow up right then, Manar, even though I really should have. I said, no, I'm good. I still held back. And then after that, he goes, so do you mean no, I'm good? Like, you're not going to say you're a Nazi, or no, I'm good as you aren't one? Poked me one more fucking time, and then I broke, okay? And then I said, no, I'm fine, is the way I view people like the scum of the earth.
Bro, what's wrong with these people, bro? I meet them a lot. They don't have arguments. They literally say it, and then they start ad hominem you.
You would like NOK Life Manar. He's a fellow Muslim.
Nah, just remember though, he uses it as an aesthetic and not as belief.
I know some bitches, they're like, leave Israel, because you're white. I'm like, no, my God, no.
No. Yeah, actually, Manar, we will probably agree on this. Yeah, I can't. My biggest thing is I can't stand when people use aesthetic to forward movements that they're not informed on, or they're not like they don't have actual belief behind, because all they do is make my side look bad. It's literally gone to the point where I was talking about this on my last stream, where I was like, I think I need to find like somewhere else other than like, I don't even want to call myself a Democrat or a liberal, because Jesus Christ, half these people are just so fucking annoying in the way they actually go by their policies.
I think I'm comfortable saying I'm a conservative, but I would never say I'm a right wing.
It's crazy. I'm gonna have to fucking dig out the Bull Moose party. Fucking.
Bro, I remember I was with Sample. I was in a debate with Nonfon. First time I talked to Sample Text, and this dude with a P. I don't know his full name, but it was a P, and he was talking about, you're from New York and you're in Israel. What are you doing in Israel or something? And I was like, man, get the fuck out.
Oh, Pedamillo.
Because all you do is make my movement look bad. Yeah, I have the exact same.
Yeah. He comes in trying to fucking become a racist pig. He's like, where are you from? The first question. I'm like, fuck off, man. This is your first question is where are you from? No, leave.
Yeah, we don't want to common ground here. There's some bridge building to do between us. Yeah, I can't stand people like that. Unironically, it's my biggest pet peeve. Like I've said it.
I want to talk ideas. I want to get into the meat and potatoes of the thing. So when you guys see that Trump is better than Biden when it comes to the stimulation of the economy, how does that make you feel?
Okay, Nonfon is a big econ person, so now you're walking into a trap. Not like he knows more than you. It's just econ is like so boring that we're gonna just have to hear econ for the next like 5 minutes if we let him speak on econ.
Listen, it's early, man. I just woke up. Okay, I gotta.
Let's do it briefly. Please don't do the scientific debate.
But I know that whenever it comes down to it, I don't know how true this is. Nonfon will either correct me or agree with me that usually the economy isn't directly impacted by the president, and if that it was directly impacted by what he did, we would be able to point towards something specifically, and we are unable to do that. It seems like, but Nonfon, here, bro, you're just giving an open road right now.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, the president doesn't have that much control over shit because the interest rates are decided by the Fed and fiscal policies decided mostly by Congress. The one thing I will say, the stimulus package that Biden did charge seemed to be pretty good. You can talk about some of the excess inflation that may have been caused by them, but I think the trade-off was overwhelmingly worth it. It definitely stimulated the U.S. economy. Right now, we have the highest growth rate in the G7 and the lowest inflation in the G7. And we've been under 4% unemployment for like 2 years straight now. A lot of that was because of the stimulus package. Secondly, a lot of the inflation had to be supply side. Yeah, thanks, Isaac. He's sleeping on a stream. We did a ton of stimulus in 2008. We did $1.7 trillion in quantitative easing. We spent $700 billion to bail out the banks, and interest rates were near zero. Despite this, we saw very little inflation. Obviously, a lot of the inflation during COVID was supply side from supply chain disruptions, like Chinese factories that shut down during COVID.
All right, let's dive deep into this a little bit. A little bit of your positions here. So you said let's talk a little bit about the funding and the economy. No, please, Isaac, don't.
No, you're good. It's just a meme. No, you're good. I just meme about it a lot.
All you want.
Yeah. I just mean about it.
This guy's more corrupt than that guy, but we need to prove that in a court of law. Whereas here, we can actually look at the economy.
The court of law is pretty easy to prove.
Okay, so can we start, for example, with the stimulation of the economy? Like, for example, the way Trump recovered post-COVID was fucking remarkable. He recovered the economy almost perfectly, and then I would argue that his stimulation package is actually bigger than Biden's stimulation package because Biden only gave us $1,400. But whereas Trump was going to promise us $2,000 checks and actually more checks, he actually gave us the $600 check, and then he was going to give us more. But then Biden came over and screwed everything up. If you guys remember.
Yeah.
What do you mean he screwed everything up?
The only
Also, what do you mean by
Biden and Trump when it came that stimulation was the college tuition forgiveness, which he never gave us. So now I would argue that Trump's economy would have recovered much longer. The recovery would have been longer and would have phased out a little bit later than it did under Biden. Under Biden, it phased out much quicker, the recovery, and it went back down. You know what I mean?
The funniest part about this argument is that when it comes to like, sorry, this is kind of a derailment, but when it comes to Trump, like one of the biggest things you could actually point to for him is like the way he did push for like multiple companies to be working towards a vaccine and the way he did make those big pushes. But it's funny that Republicans have become so anti-vaccine that you actually just can't point to that as a Republican. He did pretty well in that aspect. He brought a lot of companies like, we're making this, basically we're going to make whatever they produce public, and he did a lot of good stuff around that. But now Republicans won't touch like what he did with the vaccine by with the 10-inch pull because the way he initially handled it, it's also horrible.
The Democrats became unfucking constitutional. Like they went and mandated a medical procedure. Like of course all the Republicans are.
Bro, there's anti-Roma policies everywhere. I'm sure there were some in Ukraine. Nightbot didn't like it though.
I doubt ever that Trump would have mandated that shit on all of us. That's crazy. That sounds insane to me. Whereas the Democrats went and mandated it. Are you kidding me? Made it like not only mandated lockdowns, which Trump opposed emphatically, also mandate upon us this medical procedure, and then start giving rules upon the institutions that were hiring us so they can start kicking us out of society if we're not vaccinated. It's absolutely disgusting. You didn't see that the democratic institutions, what they did when it came to the vaccine. Of course, they're inherently going to be spectacle when it comes to the vaccine. They fucking ruined their whole reputation and the trust of the people. That's my argument against that, man. Holy moly, man!
I don't know. France
the
literally.
way the Democrats handled the vaccine was insane. That the
France literally pays Roma people to leave. You know that, right? They have a program where they literally pay Roma people to leave.
But also ruined fucking businesses.
Discrimination against Roma people is a huge problem in all of Europe.
The economy with this CARES package that failed, went all the way up to the top and gave no. Basically, all you got was the unemployment, $600 extra for unemployment.
I'm pretty sure the general outlook though on the lockdowns is that like the countries that did have like pretty heavy lockdowns did look the best during and after COVID when it came to recovery.
Yeah, but I can show you also there's evidence that countries that didn't do any lockdowns did just as good as countries.
True, but those countries are going to be like the countries you're going to do are very like selectively chosen. They're
Guys,
gonna be, like,
we're not anti-Roma here.
Like,
Guys, no, we're not anti-Roma here.
Yeah, like countries that don't have high population density. Like those are the ones you're going to point to.
What,
you can't point to another country like America.
I can't deal with this shit right now, man.
And it's because that every country like America that didn't have extensive lockdowns had a lot of people die.
I don't know. I can just no, man. I think they used this per capita per square meter, and they did that study that way, and they were able to show that the lockdowns actually didn't really do anything. Actually, they were able to show that they extended morbidity. Might have had a causal, or correlative way to the correlative. Connection with the deaths, increasing of the deaths, because people couldn't get to the hospitals. They were locked in their homes. They were exasperating their stress and mental health issues, and exasperated it was not a causal, but there was a not necessarily completely causal relationship, but it was a correlating relationship. There's a little bit of correlation between the increasing of death and the lockdowns as well. So actually, countries that were not locked down, did better. Not only did they do okay, they did better. How can you prove that, though? It doesn't even matter about the capita when it comes to that they did better than the countries that were completely vaccinated and locked in completely. Like, this is no. They already looked in the studies.
The thing is, those countries probably had different like social and like the way those countries are built are probably majorly different. That's why I said like when you can't point to another country that's like America when it comes to population density that didn't have these lockdowns and did it better or the same effect as America. When you look at countries around the same population density as America, they seem to have done the same things and the effects have been the same. It seemed like that lockdowns did help. And the only study that's ever point to that they were not effective is this Johns Hopkins study, which isn't even a Johns Hopkins study. It was made by a professor from Johns Hopkins study, and it's just a joke of a study when you look into it.
Yeah, but you have to agree with me that this is it's looking really bad there. That there's a reason for these guys to be skeptical of the Democratic Party. The institutions were very quick to judge and very quick to mandate and change laws and create an emergency and then force laws upon us, and it was very scary. And even Trump said he didn't agree with those laws. So you can agree that these Republicans have a reason to be skeptical.
I mean, kind of. Every action that's been taken to like show their skepticism hasn't really led anywhere, right? Like, can you point to some like a big thing where they caught them and they had them? Like, we finally got you here. Like, what can you point to for that?
Yeah, like what about Anthony Fauci?
You mean Anthony Fauci, who Donald Trump, during the time of the vaccine, was on stage during like the presidential debate saying that, while they don't agree, he thinks that his decisions being taken are pretty well. He thinks that while they don't agree, that they both have made pretty strong decisions on the vaccine. Like, until he went office, he had no problem with Anthony Fauci.
If you actually noticed, at the beginning, Fauci was really good when it came to the vaccine, and then he kind of switched. Almost when he got switched.
Is it that he switched, or is it that public opinion switch when Donald Trump left office? Because Donald Trump was
all I remember was he was actually advocating against the masking, and saying that, and he was actually advocating for natural procurement of the disease, and then naturally your immune system is actually strong enough now, and natural immune systems are. He was advocating for that.
You're talking about you're talking about herd immunity.
Natural immunity. Yeah.
Yes, you're talking
and
about.
Then he switched up. So maybe Trump was looking at that side of Fauci, and he wasn't looking at the other side that switched up, because he actually completely switched up 180. It was crazy.
Kind of. So I actually know a lot about this because I was just watching the 2020 debate between Donald Trump and Biden. The reason that Fauci switched up was not because like he changed his opinions or he's bought out. Is because studies shown that if we try to go for herd immunity with this, the effects would be dire, right? Like, what was the death? What is the death rate now? What is the death rate of COVID?
But you agree with no. But no. They already looked at the death rate. It was like
61 per 100,000. 61 per 100,000.
Remember COVID when it came out was the biggest thing, right? 1,700,000. That's it. Of all of Americans died, and I'll show you the average.
And 80% of them were unvaccinated.
No. Let me finish. The average year of the COVIDian, the guy that died from COVID,
gotcha,
was fucking 77 years old.
But again,
I'm not joking. Look that one up.
That is true. Yeah, that's probably true. The average people who did die were. But is your case to be that whenever there's viruses that affect old people, we should just let them affect the old people?
Yes. No. This is okay. Why do you mandate it on the young children? No, they were mandating. No, they were forcing mandates on like 3-year-olds. No. This is
because herd immunity, Manar.
Ridicule this argument. Because trying to ridicule this argument. This is a big argument. The Democratic Party overstepped their boundary and their authority. And they started mandating this and trying to come up with studies to say that this is advocating to advocate for this for 3-year-olds. The CDC girl, the Jewish girl, remember the girl that wears the red big nose, looks Indian. I forget her name.
Yeah,
No, not exactly. But I will say, you do understand that.
No. She was advocating. She was trying to advocate for kids under the age of 6 to start getting vaccinated, and it's going to affect them good. It was disgusting, man. You're going to forget about that? They were trying to force
I don't personally remember, but I also remember that the vaccine was proven to reduce.
And then it was proven that the death rate were babies and children. For babies, basically anybody under the age of 50 was like 0.00.
So from what I remember,
but the death rate is low. But I think the big concern of children is that they could carry the disease, and I think another big concern is that children would usually carry it and be like asymptomatic, so they wouldn't even know that they had it. And they could carry it and spread it to old people.
But you would think if you guys are going to argue through science, and you guys are the scientific intellectuals, you would think when the science proves to you that all the incidents are above 50, so only vaccinate the 50. If the vaccination is super effective, you should only vaccinate the people over 50. So even if they do get in contact with people that were COVIDian, those guys seem like they're going to not die from it, so they don't need vaccination. But then we need to
the concern is the child will get it and give it to someone over 50 who could die.
The only reason you would force everyone to be vaccinated, even the child, is that because the vaccine was not effective. That's what you would have to come and correlate with that. Because there's no other reason you would need to vaccinate the whole universe if a vaccine is effective and all you need is to vaccinate.
Manar, what's a vaccine? I just want to make sure that we're already mentioning it. What's the point of a vaccine?
My understanding is a vaccine, it protects the person that is vaccinated from getting the disease.
Yeah, it doesn't. So that's been a very common misconception. It's never been for total immunity. It's been to reduce the symptoms, to reduce the deaths, and to reduce the contagiousness of it. Right. That's always been the effects. Right.
Well,
Vaccines have never been.
What does that argument have to do with vaccinating the universe?
So if you vaccinate people, you're reducing it.
Vaccinate the grandpa and grandma, not the vaccinate the
So
baby.
the argument's going to be that vaccine doesn't protect you, right? So if you vaccinate the old people and their kids come and visit them, and the kids aren't vaccinated, they're at a higher rate to give the virus to the old people, right? That's the problem. That was the reason that we pushed for everyone to get vaccinated, right?
Yeah, but if you're arguing that the vaccine is effective in reducing death and morbidity,
and it is easily,
then
80% of people who died were unvaccinated.
And why is the baby getting vaccinated? He's not going to die. He's not
because they can carry it, Manar, and give it to other people. It's called herd immunity. I'm playing Minecraft right now, but I urge you to go to the Wikipedia page for herd immunity, Manar.
No, but you cannot explain why we necessarily need herd immunity.
So wait,
if it only killed 1.7 million people, it's basically like a pneumonia or a flu. It's like basically you're trying to say we need to vaccinate everyone from cars because car deaths are 1 million a year. That's literally what you're saying. And actually,
wait. That's perfect. Yeah, you're right. Do you know why there's a license belt? Do you know why driving with a belt is illegal?
Is you need to chemically castrate the car from driving over 60 miles an hour. That's what you're.
Do you know why speeding and driving with a seatbelt are both considered legal actions that you must undertake? Because we figured out that less people die if we do that.
Yeah. You know, another way you can not die too by not fucking speeding 200 miles an hour. So how about we chemically?
Oh wait, that's also.
I feel like we should allow religious exceptions to polygamy. That's my position, guys.
Fuel pumping. And
listen, I'm a red-blooded American. You're gonna tell my fellow Muslim Americans that they can't have 3 wives.
So same analogy.
Fuck you. First Amendment.
Fix the car, the death problem with the cars by.
My man Manar can have as many wives as he wants, as his religion permits him to have.
So the problem with a lot of these is that you can't. You can always make it. You can always choose what other people. You can always choose what you're going to do, but you can't choose what other people do. So the reason that speeding is illegal is because while we think that some people might make the choice to speed legally, some won't. That's why we make those bills, because other people will choose not to follow them. It's the same thing. Like, you can even make the same case with vaccine mandates, right? It's safer for you if other people don't speed. It's safer for you to go outside if other people take the vaccine. It's the same thing.
Okay, but that's a medical procedure. We have laws against mandating medical procedures.
And we
have laws against mandating medical procedures?
Maybe.
I don't know. We've had vaccine mandates to go to public school for a while.
I think just the vaccine ID is literally unconstitutional.
Well, true, but you had to. You can say that, but to enter public school, I had to get my polio shot. I had to get my HPV shot, and you have to get one. I think it's one more shot before you can go to school.
Sure. I agree with you. Yeah, there's like for the authorities. Yeah, but they were like, you needed a fucking vaccine ID to go to the mall. Like you needed a vaccine.
Well, I think Biden wanted to do the OSHA mandate, right, which was struck down as unconstitutional. Which is like that's what the Supreme Court exists for. That's what checks and balances exist for.
That's something different because no job in the world will ask you, hey, they will say, I don't know, do they even ask you about tuberculosis anymore? They don't even ask you. It's only when it's a medical. What job in the world asks you?
I have to get. Paper? So I want to be.
No job in the world asks you for your vaccine paper. It's completely unconstitutional.
I have to take some tuberculosis test before I can get into this job I want to get into now. So I do know that there are stuff like that.
Medical field.
No, it's not a medical field. I can tell you what if you want, I'll just DM you. I'll just DM you what it is. I can tell you what it is.
I think for obvious reasons, I don't want to reveal it. You're right. But other than that, it's very rare that jobs mandate to come up with vaccination, and even then they protect the information heavily. They don't.
Actually, I can just say the field without giving the exact. I want to go into teaching.
This guy got fired yesterday because he wasn't vaccinated. To make sure you guys were vaccinated. That's not how they do it.
I want to go into teaching. So to go into teaching, I have to do some tuberculosis.
That's true. Yeah. Because you're around kids, and they're gonna
So it's the same idea.
Yeah, but that's the very specific cases, and then this is not mandated to the public. It's mandated to certain areas. And you're electing. No. You're electing. You're saying, hey, if I want a position there, you're electing to say, okay, I'm sure I'm gonna have to make these vaccinations. But at least, hey, there's other positions that don't require this, so I have these options there. But what? Imagine there's nothing. You have to get vaccinated to go eat. Do you have to get
vaccinated to eat in general, though? No. Did you have to be vaccinated to go to school? No. There were options for you.
But
that's a slippery slope argument, though.
It's about to become like that. Yeah, they made it like that. They were going to ask you for vaccine IDs to go to the cinema. What are you talking about?
What I'm saying is though you're appealing to like a slippery slope right now. Where you're saying like, why would we go to this when it could lead to this? The problem is though, as it was though, there wasn't really a big problem. If you don't agree with getting a vaccine to go to school, go to homeschool, go to online schools.
Exactly. So there's options, but what happened? That this is even for kids. The kids, okay, I understand. The school.
The kids had a choice. They could go to homeschool. They could go to online school. There was so many they could go to.
I understand why schools make that. It's a medical precaution because there's a bunch of kids around each other, and if you're not polarized, then you might get the polio. Yeah, that makes sense to me. But this is a totally different thing to mandate that. Hey. And you're right. We have options. If the kid doesn't want to get vaccinated, now he's basically. This is actually a little bit harsh, but yeah, he's not allowed to go to school. But there are certain schools that will allow him to come in non-vaccinated, and you can also have option of homeschooling. Yeah. But this is a very dramatic effect to the child. We all agree it's going to be a very dramatic effect to the child, and it's going to change the way he's growing up and his behavior towards others. So this is already very dramatic, and we can recognize it. So I don't know why we're trying to claim that this is something we should normalize. To mandate something and force basically a double class system.
But again, there was no mandate that you're pointing to.
This group that's outcasted from society.
What's the mandate that you're pointing out?
Go home and study. Whereas this group is running around the recess outside together and building networks and communities, and they're the ones basically participating in the society.
So what mandate do you point to though when you say that?
Sorry?
What mandate do you point to when you say that there was a mandate?
I point to, for example, the mandate that you are not... to go to work, you were not only in the medical field anymore.
That was struck
manufacturing. Down. I was a CNC machinist, and they were forcing me. And of course, the CNC machinists were all fucking men. We all stood up, and they couldn't even force it upon us. But
wait, even in your circumstance, they didn't force it. Is what I'm hearing.
Holy shit! You know how many people I know got vaccinated because they're not in the machining department like us. In the end, only us, the machining department, weren't. We didn't necessarily need to show vaccination, but a lot of people around me, the whole company got vaccinated.
And I'm gonna say this, and it might come off as a little rude, but unfortunately, if your job wants to vaccinate you and you don't want to get vaccinated, go find another job.
The opinionator says I have to kill you.
The opinionator is why? What did I do this time?
He says you won't listen to reason. There's only one option left, and he left a dagger.
But again. Yeah, but again, you had other options though. It's not like they said mandate. Like it wasn't like a mandate. Like we will kill you if you don't get the vaccine. It was like if you want a job in this field, you have to get vaccinated.
Even the OSHA mandate was struck down. There was never actually the OSHA mandate. It was struck down 6-3 in the Supreme Court, I think.
No. What happened was even when companies didn't require it, like even not just the medical field, people fucking left so heartfeltly and so in big numbers. Look at New York and the whole state of New York. How many people? 70,000 nurses left altogether because of the vaccine mandate. You're going to tell me it wasn't a problem? It wasn't being mandated upon them. Even the medical community, which is normally supposed to be vaccinated, didn't agree with this vaccine mandate. But now you mandated it upon every other industry that's not even supposed to be mandated, that doesn't deal with anybody. And those people now are supposed to accept this. The people that are supposed to be mandated to get these vaccinations didn't accept it, but we're supposed to accept it. There was something shady happening. They were not listening to the science. They were vaccinating everyone, even unnecessarily, when the science showed that only very few people that were dying, and it was very easily, pinpoint who was dying. And they really butchered the whole thing. So I understand why the Republicans have no trust. And to be honest, I don't trust the Republicans either. But holy shit, that was a failure of the Democrats.
But again, though, if there was a mandate, they would have been left with no other choice but to take the vaccine. But you even yourself pointed out circumstances in which they didn't end up taking the vaccine. Like it was never like a hold them down and force them to take the vaccine.
Yeah,
it was like if you want to work in this field.
What happened was it turns out what they were doing was completely unconstitutional.
Yep.
And there was a lot of lawsuits being thrown out, and they got really threatened, the corporations. And they were like, holy shit, we need to back off. I don't think this federal government is going to protect us. And they started backing off from people, yes. So that's what happened. And Trump actually swore an oath that I don't know how many, for exactly for the medical thing, but I think he swore an oath. I don't remember if it was for the January 6th thing, saying he will pay the duties for everybody.
Trump a risk lawyer?
Those people that
or it was for if you don't get vaccinated, I'll pay for your lawyer fees. I don't remember, but it was something like
probably
that.
non-consensual way.
That's probably January 6th.
He's a risk lawyer.
Even though he didn't, and he could have pardoned those people, by the way, on January 6th, which is still crazy that he didn't. I can't.
He had to save it for this year.
He was in office.
No, but they hadn't been sentenced yet. They only been sentenced after he
neither was Nixon when he got pardoned.
No, the president can basically the pardon is pretty broad. You can you can pardon like anybody. You can pardon them conditionally.
Towards the end, I think what happened was he was being lied to left and right, and there was a lot of like there was something weird happening.
The Iranian president is dead, Poland. It did happen. He is dead. It was not. It was not just a hard landing. It was a crash landing.
But wait, can you blame? Why is that the option you go to? He just led an invasion on the Capitol, and you think that like they're gonna go to like CIA?
FBI and CIA invaded into the White House. The deep state invaded in, and they started.
Oh my god!
And he had his followers.
A lot of proof that the FBI lied to him through the new.
Because they thought he was a criminal.
New reporting.
And for good reason, he was. I'm gonna be skeptical.
But yeah, that's a little bit fucking crazy.
If my manager,
president, while he's being president,
if my manager advocates someone to murder one of my coworkers, I'm going to be skeptical of my manager. He advocated for them to. He was advocating against Mike Pence when his followers were spouting out, "Hang Mike Pence! Hang Mike Pence!" Like if my manager was like basically saying, "Go get your coworker," right? Go protest, go fight for our country, fight like hell. If he was saying those things, and he went to the office, and he came back to the office the next day, I'm gonna look at the dude a little weird.
I don't know, man. It just seems like you guys are kind of picking and choosing here.
What? No, let me be clear. I don't support Biden full-heartedly. I just think when it comes down to it, Trump is just so much worse.
But how? He's better on the economy. He's better when it comes to foreign affairs. He's better when it comes to his actual.
Okay. Do you agree with? Do you agree with his Muslim ban?
Okay, but Biden's fucking racist too.
Do you agree with him moving the embassy to Jerusalem and him saying that the annexation of the Golan Heights is pretty okay?
No, I think he did a terrible thing there.
Yeah, so then what do you point to?
And also the Iran nuclear deal that he pulled out of and replaced with nothing.
The Afghanistan pullout,
I already gave it to you. This the APAC is too strong and captured everybody, but he was better in every other way. Like Saudi Arabia, you're gonna tell me the way Saudi Arabia doesn't even pick up our phone calls anymore. You're gonna try to
but like Iran attacked Saudi Arabia under Trump, and Trump did nothing, right?
Trump was in office, we were able to fill up our reserves. Do you guys forget about our ships in the ocean? Our oil reserves that are now depleted completely because of Biden. You guys forgot about that? Trump filled up for us. You forgot about the amazing reception that Saudi Arabia loved and gave Trump. You forgot about how America was becoming a net importer for fuel for the first time ever. Because of the expansion of so much fueling and fracking that Trump did. I'm not going to say that. I mean, this is great.
Well, so
the first time ever, and now we're depleted completely from energy, and we have no fucking oil reserves, and it's disgusting.
Number one, Biden against pressure from his own party opened up more drilling. The U.S. is now producing more oil than any country in the history of the earth. We are the number one oil producer. Our oil production's at an all-time high. Secondly, do you think it?
No. Hey. Nonfon. One thing to that. Our oil reserves in the ocean, have they not been depleted? Yes or no?
They were full
under Trump.
I don't know if that's relevant.
And they're now depleted.
If I'm correct, though, didn't he open those up because of the high rates that we were getting on oil? Like, I agree with what he did. Oil rates were getting high. Didn't he use those reserves to help combat inflation for oil?
He's the one that filled up the reserves. What are you guys talking about? He had an agenda. He said, I'm going to fill up the reserves. Everyone called him crazy. Why are you doing that?
Wait.
And then Biden went and depleted the reserves again.
Well, do you know why it's called a reserve? It's because you're reserving that oil for when times get bad. They reserved it until inflation was high. And then inflation went high.
It's $5.
Yeah, and then he released it. That's why he released it. Yeah, so you should agree with the use of it.
Yeah,
they reserved the oil because they were knowing at some point the inflation is going to get high. And then inflation got high, and then they released it.
He's depleting, but that's Trump's effort. That was completely Trump's agenda. There's literally everyone told him, stop, don't do it. What are you doing? You don't need.
You know why they told him stop, don't do it when it came to oil, though?
Trump himself saying, no, I want to fill up all my reserves. I want America to posture as a strong nation that doesn't need nobody. This is Trump himself. This is his agenda. And then Biden went and ruined everything.
But again, though, you agree though that inflation on oil was getting high, so we probably should have released it, right? Do you think he should have let oil keep going up?
Under Trump, we had a record low oil. Like we had like $1.89,
I mean, of course, inflation's naturally going to go up through
oil.
time.
What are you talking about?
Yeah, of course, naturally, prices are going to go up over time. Also,
you cannot tell me prices can go up in 5 years, and this is something we should accept. 5 years, it all took 5 years. It's 5 years since $1.79 gallon. What are you talking about?
So 5 years ago, we used to have
unreasonable.
So 5 years ago, we used to
oil prices have come down too. Again, we are now making more oil than any country in the history of ever.
49 in Texas. Well, go ahead. Sorry.
Okay, also, but to make a big point though, but the reason also people were telling him no when it came to oil was because he was pushing for a big oil drill that he knew Biden would have struck down when he was in office. It would be really stupid of you to pursue a bill when you don't know how the election is going to go out that you know your predecessor would shut down, right? If I had a manager, if I was working under a manager, okay, I'm sorry for using the manager hypothetical, and he learned that the next manager coming in hated napkins, and he buys 100 boxes of napkins, and the next person comes in and throws them out. Everyone expects that. He knew that Biden was coming in on a pro-climate change, a pro-environment stance, and he pushed for oil in places that are arguably not good, like fracking and all that, right? That was the big claim against it, was that the oil pipeline wasn't going to be good for the environment. So, of course, someone who's pro on the environment, when they came in, was going to cancel that, and everyone knew that. That's why they told him, hey, you probably shouldn't do this until after the election.
No, man. What happened was this guy. You're speculating there. You have no idea what happened there. What
I'm saying is the same thing as advisors told him. The people who were advising him told him the same exact thing.
What?
That if Biden came into office, he would have struck down the pipe. Strike down. What the fuck is the past tense of strike?
Struck down.
Struck. He would have struck down the pipeline. Everyone knew that was going to happen, and that's exactly what happened the minute he walked into office. It was because it wasn't good for the environment, arguably.
Who struck down Biden?
Yes. What's the pipeline?
Are you talking about the Nord Stream?
Maybe I don't know.
No, I don't think it was the Nord. I think it was the Keystone pipeline, right?
Keystone. It was Keystone.
I think we're talking about the Keystone. Yeah.
Okay.
Yes,
Biden also approved the Willow Project, right? Remember when every fucking progressive was mad because Biden approved the Willow Project? Like Biden has been relatively lenient on oil production against pressure from his own party, even.
True. Isn't America currently energy efficient? I mean,
energy independent. I'm pretty sure. Yeah.
Yeah. For sure.
This is hilarious. So Nonfon is arguing that Biden is the best guy on energy. He's increasing fracking, and he's increasing all these contracts for more oil, and we're becoming net importer again. And then Isaac is saying, no, we're really good anti-oil. We need to reduce our reserves, and we need to.
Manar, come on, you're regressing a little. You're going back to straw mans. I said you're regressing. You're going back to straw mans.
What was your argument then?
My point was that
you're trying
everyone
to say
knew
that we should have been weak on energy, and then Nonfon is trying to say we were really good on energy.
My point was that everyone knew that Trump's idea of the Keystone Pipeline was going to get struck down as soon as Biden entered office. A bad manager is a manager.
Keystone was a controversial pipeline. It wasn't because it was a bad deal. It was a fucking trash pipeline that was fucking had holes everywhere.
And again, so then why did Trump push for it? If that's your opinion on it.
You're right. I don't know. It sounds like a complete corruption thing. Maybe he was lied to. Maybe he thought it will increase. I know he was in a phase where he was trying to increase the independence of America when it comes to energy, and he was actually extremely successful. That's all I know. Now were some dealings that were shady.
The thing he pushed for got struck down instantly. Was he successful? I said, was he really successful? The oil pipeline he pushed for got struck down the minute he left.
My understanding wasn't that the Biden administration stopped the Keystone pipeline.
I'm pretty sure it was. Let me see.
I think Biden did stop the Keystone pipeline, but I mean,
because Barack Obama didn't give a fuck about it. Barack Obama let it go. It actually happened underneath Barack Obama, if you guys remember.
Yeah, and they figured out the problems with it under that time.
Trump was like, "Fuck it, it's already built. I'm not gonna ruin everything."
If I remember correctly, I looked into this in my own time. I remember because I argued with one of my friends on this. Okay.
Yeah, in 2015, the U.S. State Department.
On his first day in office, Joe Biden revoked the permit for the pipeline. On his first day in office, everyone knew he was going to. The permit for its expansion and being built was revoked on Biden's when he stepped into the office.
Yeah, but this is this Barack Obama's and Biden's pipeline. What are you guys talking about?
I'm saying that it's a bad precedent to
Keystone
set.
XL is Barack Obama's pipeline. This is his invention underneath with Vice President Biden.
It's his invention.
All I'm saying is that they knew that under Biden this would have been struck down because I'm assuming that under the Obama administration they found out that it was bad on the environment.
Yeah, underneath the Obama administration was
in
bad.
2015, the Obama administration rejected the pipeline, citing its economic and environmental concerns. So under the Obama administration, they realized that it was wrong and ended it. Trump brought it back up, even though they knew that Biden, if he came into office, would have struck it back down, because why wouldn't he? He just did 2 years prior. In 2015, he struck it down. In 2016, Trump starts it. In 2019, okay, we know that Biden's going to be a serious candidate. So we know that if he comes into office, he's going to strike that bitch down instantly. Because he just did
signed an executive order to allow Keystone XL to move forward after Barack Obama did hold off in 2015. Yep.
Also, just at the time of its cancellation,
just a part of it. He refused to grant the cross-border permit necessary to build the.
At the time of cancellation, it was 8% done. 8%, and that's under like what? It considerably, arguably, work in between October 2007 to January 2021.
Yeah, Trump completely reversed the Barack Obama administration determination and would not serve the national interest. When that failed, thanks to a lawsuit brought by the NRDC and the other group, Trump reissued a cross-border permit himself. Then the Trump administration would do something to undercut us outside of court. I don't know. Went to the court again. Fucking hell, man.
Well, it's been canceled now. And as of now, the
Keystone pipeline is canceled. Oh, because
from what I'm saying is on June 9th.
Get canceled underneath Trump.
So on June 9th, 2021, it was abandoned by its developer about 2 months. Wait, January.
Yeah,
3 months after Joe Biden revoked it. Yeah.
Resources withdrew its 10-year application to build the largest star stands.
It was abandoned by its developer, and at the prime, he said 8% of it was done. 8%. It was definitely an inefficient plan.
Yeah, but it wasn't Trump's. I mean, maybe he got misguided there, but it wasn't like Trump is the one that started this. Maybe he saw like, hey, look at what
he was the direct one who started it, though. They canceled it in the Obama administration, and then he revived it. Like he was the direct one who did that.
It just seems like we're speculating on this story specifically.
It's right here. It's right here. In 2015, they ended it. In 2017, he restarted it. In 2021, Biden ended it. The creator said it was 8% done. Everything I just said is factually correct.
Yeah, okay, you're right. I agree with you that Barack Obama had it work a little bit, and then he refused.
Then he axed it because of the environment.
He didn't refuse the whole thing. He just refused the cross-border permit. So that means the rest of the pipeline has been being built. The only thing in question here is that Trump did was allow the cross-border.
What I'm seeing is he rejected the pipeline project as a totality, like as a whole. He rejected the product. I mean, the project.
No. Yeah, exactly. So I don't think but right now I don't think the whole Keystone pipeline is shut down. I think it's just the cross-border permit or the cross-border part of it.
What the Keystone pipeline? There's multiple Keystone pipelines, right? Isn't it the Keystone XL or whatever that we're having this conversation over? Yeah.
Yes.
Sure. Yeah. What happened to the Keystone XL? It's still in operation, no?
That's not what I'm seeing. It was the proposed fourth pipeline that got canceled, called the Keystone XL.
What is the Keystone XL pipeline extension proposed by TC Energy in 2008? It's an expansion of company's existing Keystone pipeline system, which was been operating since 2010, so under Obama. The pipeline promised to dramatically increase capacity to process the 168 billion barrels of crude oil locked up under Canada's boreal forest. It was expected to transport oil would be sent chiefly overseas, not to gasoline pumps in the United States. Interesting. I don't know. It just seems like this is a pipeline. The only problem, President Trump and the pipeline, when the Barack Obama stopped.
So from what I see, so he on 2017 he signed a new permit to allow the Keystone pipeline to be built again. In 2018, a U.S. district judge revoked the permit because it violated Administrative Procedure Acts, National Environmental Acts, and Endangered Species Act. And then the next year, Trump revoked the prior permit and tried to issue a new one. So it seems like every single time he tried to push for this, it kept getting blocked.
Yeah, this is he actually made an executive order just for the Keystone pipeline. It seems like his actual cabinet really wanted this to go through. I don't know what was the deal with his administration.
And again,
I guess they proved it. I guess the way they showed it to him is like it's going to increase jobs. I don't know.
Yes, that was a big thing in protection.
Yeah, that makes sense because it's 120,000 jobs. I mean,
because I remember when Biden axed it, that was a big point of criticism is that he lost like a lot of jobs, right? But don't worry, something else was going on during that time to also lose just a lot of jobs.
Yeah, that's 100,000 jobs. I mean, that's a lot of jobs. So maybe Trump was like trying to say he wasn't really looking at the pollution and the climate effect of it.
Sure.
He was looking, or maybe he was looking at the climate effect of it and still was like, hey, maybe you're right. Maybe he did look at it and was like, hey, I don't care. Fuck it. 100,000 jobs is worth it. I don't know, but it seems like he did it for his own personal appeal to increase in public. I know it kind of hurt him in the end, which is ironic, but I think he just did it to bolster his own numbers. I'm not sure.
Also, from what I'm seeing, the Canadian part would be still be in production, but the U.S. part was abandoned.
So the permit that he did.
Yes, the second permit he delivered got struck down by the District Court of Appeals, or the District Circuit Court is what I'm seeing. District Judge Brian Morrison issued a suspension of the pipeline construction after the plaintiffs, blah, 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 alleged the project was improperly reauthorized back in 2017. The judge agreed
he did live in the U.S. Does he not live in the U.S.? I thought he
did. Therefore, reverting the appointment. In 2020, May 28th, the Circuit of Appeals, Ninth Court, denied a motion to stay the district judge ruling. This prompted some random person to file an application for stay to the Supreme Court. The application was granted a hearing. And then a month later, the Supreme Court of the United States ordered all Keystone work to be halted, and that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, so
and
what
then
happened
on January, he revoked it on his first day.
What I believe could have happened is, be careful, maybe the Barack Obama administration or Biden administration just didn't want that part, but they were okay with the whole pipeline. I mean, it's been under their arm, and it's been being built, and they gave it permit. Plus, Biden.
They stopped it when they found they stopped production when they figured out it was hurting the environment is what it says. No, but that's why they revoked it.
The Keystone XL completely is not. No, wait. The production of that border, Keystone.
Yes, XL. The production of that pipeline because it would have hurt endangered species and the environment.
Okay, but be careful, man, because I think it's gonna restart. I'm actually gonna put that on hold because this is my opinion on this.
Considering that the entire project's been abandoned by the developer itself, I don't think so.
I don't know, man. I think they're gonna find somebody with enough incentive, comes monetarily speaking, and maybe they force the developer out to push his own friends in. And so,
I mean, if you're saying that you think there's another pipeline that could be constructed, I would agree.
I think what's happening is he's waiting for his next 4 years, which makes sense because it's such a detrimental thing. Because imagine he actually says, yes, I'm gonna allow this permit to go through. It would be such a detrimental thing to his case that he would never be reelected. So that makes sense.
I mean, that's what he ran on. In 2016, he ran on bringing it back alive.
What?
Bro, that's base, bro.
Remember, it was stopped by the Obama administration.
That's it.
He ran on.
I respect Manar for that, man.
That's Trump.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah. So
that's
Trump
why
I'm streaming.
I'm streaming to
but Biden also might be.
And it's going to get struck down every single time he tries to. He tried twice, and both times
I don't know, man, because the Barack Obama, maybe it's just that one pipeline they don't like, but they did a lot of pipelines. They did a lot of permitting.
Yeah, I'm not saying
Biden's been allowing a lot of permitting.
Yeah, the pipelines directly aren't bad. It's that pipeline's path probably did a lot to the environment, especially to endangered species, for it to be cited, right? It was just that act. So why did Trump keep pushing it?
Specific pipeline, but that's a specific pipeline issue. Maybe Trump. I don't know why Trump pushed so hard. It's clear to me.
I know, right? That's what I'm saying. I don't understand either.
It's clear to me. It's only for the jobs. It's clear, and he didn't.
But then just make a new pipeline.
Pollution. Huh?
He just make a new pipeline.
Huh?
I said, if that's the case,
if you're concerned about jobs, like we've been at record low unemployment under Biden for like most of his term.
No way. You can't say that at the same time the Fed is raising interest rates. You cannot say that.
Wait. What do you mean?
Comparable.
The Fed is raising interest rates to try to bring down inflation, yet we're still seeing job growth. We're still seeing low unemployment.
This is a causal relationship. You increase interest rates, you increase unemployment rate. Unemployment rates. Yep. This is a causal relationship.
That is true. Yes, but
oh god, the ECON.
what's your point? You understand we're raising interest rates to try to bring down the inflation you hate so much.
My point is, don't claim Biden's economy is good because don't claim the unemployment numbers, because you cannot claim that when you're literally destroying the economy and those numbers right now.
Would you rather the interest rates be lower?
Yes.
So you would rather higher inflation?
Continue to rise.
If you reduce interest rates, you increase
inflation.
Rate. And do you increase inflation? Let me think about it. Do you increase inflation? Why do you increase?
That's why they do it.
Well, yeah.
Why inflation increases with that?
Sorry, decreases under.
Part of it is because of the Phillips curve. Well, that is now disputed, I guess.
He's just yapping for nothing.
But basically, decreasing interest rates increases demand. Basically.
So Phillips curve saying what? That
don't worry about the Phillips curve. Don't worry about the Phillips curve right now, because it's way too. I get hate for defending it. Okay,
it's controversial. Nonfon is too liberal. Okay, he's on his way to get his 20th vaccine. And he talks about the Phillips curve every time. It's so cringe. Okay, Phillips curve is cringe. Not stand by that.
Don't worry about the Phillips curve. Just all that really matters is that lowering interest rates increases demand, because it's cheaper to borrow things. It's cheaper. Everything's cheaper.
Rates increases demand. Of course, yes.
Yeah, and that increases inflation. The reason why we raise interest rates is to try to decrease inflation. Because demand goes up, supply doesn't go up, therefore prices go up. Demand pull inflation.
That should be deflation. That should increase deflation. That should be a deflationary thing.
What do you mean?
So
I know you disagree, Cuptodoc. I know.
Think if
I can't do the MMT shit right.
If wages go up.
Well, don't worry about wages right now. Just worry about.
Go up. If interest rate goes up, unemployment goes up. So if interest rate goes down, unemployment goes down. So now you have more people to hire. And so wages will go down.
What are you?
Wait a minute. I'm not understanding. Why is it an inflationary? It would be deflationary. It wouldn't be inflationary.
What would be? Decreasing interest rates?
If you're talking about the Phillips curve.
Don't worry about the Phillips curve right now.
The Phillips curve is correlated. It's just a connection between unemployment.
If we reduce interest rates, we reduce unemployment. That's true. Okay.
Yeah.
You agree with me? Okay. And then if unemployment is reduced, that means economy is prospering more.
Well, it can be. I mean, there are trade-offs, but yes, but basically. But why are we talking? Don't worry about the Phillips curve. All that matters is you understand decreasing interest rates will increase demand, right?
Decreasing interest rates
increase demand. It makes it cheaper for companies to invest, which drives up demand for capital goods.
Yeah.
So it increases demand. Supply doesn't increase, at least not for a while. Therefore, it's called demand pull inflation. The price of stuff goes up because it becomes cheaper for people.
Wait. So that sounds like a deflationary thing, because then the price of things go up, but that means the value of the thing goes up too. So that means if you own that thing, you just increase the value of your ownership. So it seems like if you're the owner of the thing, then it's deflationary for you, because your money.
Yeah, but you're also raising the cost of like durable goods and non-durable goods. I mean,
how can you raise the cost? Actually, it reduces the cost, because let's say, look at this: unemployment goes up. Sorry, unemployment goes down. Federal rates go down. Unemployment goes down. Unemployment goes down. You have more reduction in costs. Actually, it's a reduction in costs because unemployment is down now. You don't have to invest so much in labor, because now there's more competition in labor, so it reduces your cost, and then you have more, and then you start producing. I don't know how that's actually inflationary in any way. I don't know if it's linked in any way. I can't see the linkage. I'm trying to link them. I can't. I don't think this is inflationary. If anything, it would be deflationary, because if you're the owner of the asset and it's growing up in value.
Yeah, but we're not just talking about assets.
I know very little about
the
economy. Yeah, I know very little about the economy. But let me give my explanation on this. Okay. So from my understanding, okay, lowering interest rates means people are more inclined to get loans, more inclined to buy houses, more inclined to spend, right? So if people are more inclined to collect money because you are able to under lower interest rates, it would make sense that people are more likely to spend money, therefore reducing the supply.
Yeah, but this money is correlating. It's like circulating in the economy, so that money is gonna come back to you. The same $50, unless it's taxed to oblivion, it's coming back.
Unless
to you.
There's inflation, then the $50 isn't worth what $50 used to be worth.
Yeah, but that has no direct relationship with our relationship that we're talking about. This relationship of inflation and unemployment has nothing to do. Sorry, interest rate and unemployment has nothing to do with the inflation rates, or at all. I don't believe it at all. This sounds crazy, because the other way, man, the way that this makes no sense to me. How can you relate unemployment with increase of inflation? There's so many different variables that you need to be looking at. It just doesn't make sense. Like, let's try to put an example of a house. So now there's people, there's more less unemployment, so there's more people getting hired, so wages go down, so actually the prices of the houses are going to go up, because more people are competing for that house because everyone is getting employed. So it seems like the price of the house will go up. So,
Manar, do you accept that if demand goes up, if aggregate demand goes up, there will be inflation? There will be demand pull inflation.
No, I don't know how that correlates.
You don't think if demand? So can we? I guess we can draw a supply and demand graph for you.
I'm trying to give me one example in the real world that I can look at. Is it like
just look up demand pull inflation?
More. Like, would you say a company investing more and prospering and growing its business is inflationary? Like, that's crazy. It just makes no
demand
sense.
Increasing is inflationary. So businesses investing more can be inflationary in the short term. It might be deflationary in the long term. Here, if you look up demand pull inflation.
Maybe that's what I'm getting to. Yeah, maybe that's what I'm getting to. I'm talking about the long term. I don't know where. Look, I don't know. It just seems to me that they're actually not related.
How did we
with
even
one
get
another.
here?
Well, all these trade-offs are talking about in the short term, because long-term inflation is usually a monetary issue. But
I think inflation. Yeah, I think inflation is a totally different thing. I think inflation is a printing of the money. It has to do with the
long term. It's monetary.
Yeah, but it has nothing to do with this relationship between the Feds and unemployment. It has to do with the relationship between the Feds and printing money.
But in the short term, it does have to do with the relationship between interest rates, and demand.
I haven't seen the link. I haven't been able to link them.
You can look at the charts I sent in general. You can see.
Let me look.
Basic supply and demand graph. Demand increases, prices are going to go up. I mean, you can try asking ChatGPT. I'm sure ChatGPT can explain it.
I'm trying to understand if I have unemployment. If demand,
I can ask Manar about his ideal woman later, I guess.
Let's say lumber is up. So if the Feds go down in rates, then unemployment goes down. Then the price of wood goes up.
Just think about it this way: if interest rates are low, people can afford to borrow, right, to buy a house. Therefore, there's more demand for houses. Therefore, all the inputs for housing also have more demand, like lumber. You need lumber to build a house, so demand for lumber is going up, and the price of lumber will therefore go up. It's inflationary. It's demand pull inflation.
Wow, very interesting. Very interesting. I'm a little bit unclear on that.
Yeah, I try not to understand any of it. I stay away from econ, or I can't do it.
Yeah. I tried. I can't get there because I can see a link between Fed and unemployment. I can see a link between printing money and increasing of inflation. I can see a link between increasing of the value of something and the and the deflationary effect of that, because now your money is more valuable. Actually, it's deflationary. Like maybe if we're holding onto cash, it's inflationary. But if you're holding onto the assets and the economy is prospering and unemployment is down and you're holding onto assets, it seems like a deflationary thing because all your money is going to go up.
Well, the economy can prosper even with higher inflation. Like usually, growth and inflation are like correlated. Like the higher growth you have, usually the higher inflation you're going to experience. But not us, baby. Lowest inflation in the G7, highest real GDP growth in the G7, baby. Hell yeah.
Wow. Yeah. I'm not gonna be able to agree with you on that. I can agree with you. I think
on the facts.
Okay,
listen. It seems like most of the stuff he presents is like factually sound.
Inflation is directly related to the Fed and the Treasury, but I cannot say that it's linked to unemployment. Like that's weird.
Unemployment. Wait, what?
True.
You mean inflation?
True. Reject the Phillips curve.
Yeah, I say inflation can be linked to the Treasury, but I can never link it to unemployment.
God, you tell him. Yeah,
Manar, it would take so long to go over all the Phillips curve stuff, but basically, okay, the Phillips curve really is about wages and inflation, okay, and we kind of just use unemployment as a proxy for wages, okay, on the macroeconomic level. Income is a shifter of demand, okay, so if consumers have more income, demand shifts positively to the right. It increases. So if consumers have more demand, prices will increase because consumer demand will shift to the right, causing demand pull inflation. Basically, that's what the Phillips curve says. But unemployment is probably not the best way to measure that. It's complicated, okay? Don't worry about the Phillips curve right now. Well, actually, what matters is that the Fed thinks the Phillips curve is real, and because the Fed thinks the Phillips curve is real, it ends up acting as if the Phillips curve is real, which means like if we try to target lower inflation, there will be higher employment because the Fed intentionally raises unemployment because they think doing so will bring down inflation.
Interesting. I'm not even. Yeah. Okay. Say that last part one last time.
Okay, basically, because the Fed acts as if the Phillips curve is real, there is a relationship because the Fed will intentionally bring up inflation or bring down unemployment because they act as if it's real, basically.
Okay. Interesting. Okay.
Like right now, they're trying to give Americans less jobs because inflation is still too high. So like when we have a job report come in that's unexpectedly hot, there's an unexpectedly high number of jobs, the Fed thinks that's a bad thing.
So what you're advocating for, Isaac, you're looking, huh? I don't know how Isaac follows me, bro.
I'm a supporter of you, bro. I'm a supporter, bro. You know I'm a supporter. And for reference, Nonfon, I'm in non-smokers chat yelling that Manar would destroy these people, and they're afraid to let Manar in to try to get him to the call.
Who is non-smoker, by the way?
I didn't know he does a lot.
He's just another one. He's just another one.
What's his like positions?
No, I don't know. He seems more like a moderator. He seems like he more like hosts panels. I assume he has his own position.
Okay.
But yeah, I see him like when he hosts panels, but I don't know. I'm currently like red pilled on Twitch creators right now, where I'm just I want to focus more on actually researching stuff than getting on panels and debating people all the time. Because Jesus Christ, I told you, bro, I'm so getting annoyed with my. Half of these people, I feel like on this panel, probably if I went to their stream, wouldn't have a actual have anything showing of like them actually doing research. But call me crazy, okay?
Yeah.
Well, are you talking about? Do you think it's like it's gonna be like conspiracy theories, like, or do you think it's like?
No, I mean I think that every single person on there is just like this. Yeah, I think everyone on there is just there to like spew their message, right? Like they already have their opinion on everything. They didn't like go through any like work to like show it. I think that's what it is.
Oh, this non-smoker guy looks like
this game.
I agree with you. This is why I need to go there, because I would destroy them. They only have one argument, or maybe maximum two, and that's it. And you can just defeat that so easily. And
again, I don't feel like Manar. I feel like you even personally don't dislike Biden as much as like you should.
No.
Like, you
No. My
Trump
problem is My problem is this is actually very special case because this is your country. So I'm actually going to sit in the sideline. I'm going to respect American exceptionalism and how you guys like to do things. And you guys like to do it in a way where you do democratic elections. So all I do is I scrutinize these elections. I'm not going to scrutinize. I'm done. I'm tired of scrutinizing Trump over Biden. I mean, both of them are fucking disgusting. They're both ugly looking. But we're getting to a different picture now, where you guys are now. Your law system shouldn't be trusted. Your politicians are all corrupt. Your actual incentives when it comes to the electoral class is completely monetarily based. It has nothing to do with the American people anymore. And so I'm just very disheartened when it comes to America, to be honest with you. So I'm gonna sit in the middle when it comes to this position. I'll let you guys battle that out, Trump or Biden. But as an objective observer, as the best as I can be, I can see that Trump is much better than Biden.
I haven't been watching the stream. Is anyone listening with audio? Have they even mentioned Manar, or are they just ignoring him?
I kind of doubt it. Well, they're probably actually talking about the panel stuff right now. I doubt they would just take a break to read chat.
Yeah, maybe nonsmoker will smile, but that's about it.
Have you talked to nonsmoker before, Manar?
Yeah. I've done debates with him before.
What does nonsmoker believe?
He's like he's a teacher, and he's been doing it for a long time, like 15 years, I think. And he's not red pilled completely, but he's pretty smart, very well educated. He's kind of like me. He's on my side. He would be looking at the facts directly. He's not necessarily latched onto a certain position. If you can prove to him that Biden is really strong, then he might accept Biden. But it's very hard for you to prove that, though.
This guy looks like a communist.
I don't know this person, but every time someone says I could be convinced, 99% of the time they actually couldn't be convinced. They're just saying that to not seem audience capture.
You can convince me. If you were able to answer this Anothny Blinken relation with the Biden administration and Barack Obama administration, and also Jared Kushner, if you were able to answer that, I would have been convinced. I would have been like, holy shit, maybe Jared Kushner is so much worse. But
the problem is, here's the thing though.
Blinken,
Democrats don't even bring up Jared Kushner. The only reason they bring up Jared Kushner is because fucking Republicans bring up Hunter Biden. That's the only reason it's brought up.
Okay. Yeah, you're right. They don't even care about him exactly because this is something.
Yeah, they're not the first one, and it's not. It's not that they don't care. It's more that it's funny. They use it to point out the hypocrisy of the Republican Party. How many times have you seen the Republican Party advocate for the jailing of Hunter Biden? Yet when it comes to Jared Kushner, I don't see anything on mainstream news about him.
Yeah, I actually rarely see anything. I feel like he has full ownership of the media space, kind of like his dad.
It's the same thing. It's the same thing with the Georgia Rico case. Do you know how many Trump supporters I talk to? And they'll be like, well, January 6th wasn't an insurrection. And I'm like, I'll agree with you, okay? Just because arguing what is and what isn't an insurrection is probably fairly difficult. I want to argue about the Georgia Rico case. The what? Whenever he tried to install fake electors in different states to sway the election his way illegally, I'm like, what's that? And it's like, how do you not know about that? Yes.
Yeah, but the fake electors one?
Yep.
Yeah,
Georgia
the fake
Rico.
electors, yep.
Isn't that the same one, the Fulton County one?
That's the Fulton County one. I don't know the counties.
Fulton County, isn't that the same one that the girl was fucking her district attorney? Or is that
no? I don't think it is because I'm 99% sure the Jack Smith is the Rico case.
Okay. I need to look into that because I'm pretty sure that one was election fraud too.
Yeah, January 6th. The January 6th case was also No, the bigger point is also the district attorney being taken off that case doesn't mean the case is mute at this point. It just means that they're getting a new prosecution probably, right?
Yeah.
There's no reason to ruin a case just because someone was fucking someone. They did everything correctly legally. They realized that there could be some conflict of interest and they took themselves off the case.
I don't know, man. For the defense to create a defense that, hey, your prosecutor is doing shit.
It's fucking another person. Yeah, that's crazy.
And for the fucking judge to say, yo, I actually think I agree with you, it's big.
The main reason the judges did, I'm just speculating now, but I assume the main reason the judge did that is because they don't want to leave any room for a mistrial. That's the main thing I'm assuming what's happening. But also, now with every single court case, you can't really push for show proof, show evidence because those court cases are currently being done at the slowest possible rate so that Trump, when he gets into office, can pardon himself from the, I think it's the federal crimes, right? Because you can't pardon state crimes.
Yeah, because he can't pardon himself for the state crimes. Yeah.
So then you have to start asking yourself, what the fuck's he gonna do with the state crimes? Because he's obviously guilty. That's not even disputable. Okay. So I personally,
but I think like even if he's president, it would basically become like too costly for like the prosecution to like really try to,
man, you guys
effectively prosecute him.
How do you do you guys have no problem with the Rico case? Your fucking ex-president is getting charged with a Rico case. You don't
because he's obviously guilty of the crime. The evidence they presented is pretty damning.
His co-defendants have already pleaded guilty.
Do you know why? Do you know why they're called Rico? Do you know why the cases are called Rico?
Do you know that they don't do them except for mafia members?
You know why that is? It's because Rico cases are saved.
Stopped doing it? Because it's so fucking brutal.
Yep, Rico cases have one of the highest prosecution rate. They're only used when it's someone of high class for a crime that they know has been committed. You're right. Yeah, right. They are brutal.
As if they're not used as an intimidation tactic for the ex-mobs to tattletale on each other. True. So they don't get 300 years in prison. No,
but what's funny is Rudy Giuliani, whatever the fuck his name is, okay, he was like one of the trailblazers.
He's the that started the fucking Rico.
Yeah, and now he has one against him.
Yeah, fucking.
Which is just really funny.
How the fucking tables turn, fucking pig.
But again, anyway, we say Rico cases for the most dangerous people.
Anyways, so, this is something you should be scrutinizing as an American, that your fucking ex-president is being Rico.
We're a democracy, not a fascist country. We don't follow our leaders to every.
We should have rule of law, yeah.
That's not fair. No. This is something that's not fair. This was stopped. This was such a non-fair act that it was completely stopped. It was only, they said it was a myth. It was a legend. We only did it for this certain period.
They're still
doing it. Now you're bringing it back up. That means you were liars. That means
Rico cases were never stopped. Young Thug, isn't it Young Thug who's currently undertaking a Rico case? Isn't that where that bar came from? Where it's called that case Rico because it's on lock? Like, what's the bar from?
The idea that the Rico is just being tossed out on anybody.
Yeah, Young Thug.
I'm gonna get Rico'd is fucking crazy.
Wait, being Rico'd isn't for anything. It's for racketeering and corrupt organizations, which is what they currently think Young Thug was a part of, and Trump.
The idea that a Rico case has more weight than any regular case is not true. Actually, Rico case just is it's a different classification of the basically.
It's like it's saved for people of high status.
You're prosecuting a terrorist, basically.
But
it's a different classification to the victim.
It's not. But it's not. It's not prosecuting the terrorists. It's prosecuting the first terrorists. It's prosecuting the leader of these groups. It is very important.
No, my understanding was Rico was thrown out to every gangster. The way it was getting used
probably
in
for
New York,
racketeering.
They were using it to every single mafia kid, everyone. They're like, hey, if you don't tattletale, you're gonna get Rico'd 300 years, 200 years. A lot of them went like 100 years and they died. A lot of them 100 years.
I'm just saying that when you point to Rico cases, they are usually the high leaders of these organizations that are being tried in them.
No. My history of Rico, the way I fucking looked and studied Rico, was an abomination of the court system. It was clearly a way to embezzle information from.
It's a way to fight organized crime.
From the mafia men, it wasn't only forced upon the leaders; it was forced upon everybody that wouldn't talk, and they were basically embezzling their information. So it's a way to torture somebody to increase their to make them, force them to comply to you, and this is not actually justice. My understanding is they actually claim that we will never use it against anyone that is not a gangster and a mobster. Don't worry, guys.
It was never
crazy, but we won't use it. That was
from what I remember. It was never specifically mentioned. I'm reading the Wikipedia, so it's ironic that you just said that, because even in the wiki it says that this wasn't specifically made for mobs, even though that was the common view on it. It was not. I can't even find the Riddick line. Let me do Control Find. Addition, no.
So true. Thank you. The opinion.
I literally just read something that was although its prime intent was to deal with organized crime, Blake said that the Congress never intended it merely to apply to the mob.
Thanks for following.
We don't want one rule set of rules for people whose collars are blue and whose names end in vowels, and another set for those whose collars are white and have Ivy League diplomas. It was never for a specific set of people, is what they're saying. Never for a specific group of people.
Yeah. What does that make? What does that point out?
I'm just saying that was the main. It's for racketeering, but also it's not like they ever stopped. Like the Young Thug case is a big Rico case. Apparently, there's been one as recent as 2015. for FIFA. FIFA got indicted. The football company was indicted under Rico for 47 counts of racketeering, wire fraud, and money laundering conspiracies.
It sounds ridiculous, man, that your president's getting Rico. You should be scrutinizing.
I think it is ridiculous, yes, that we let someone into presidential office who committed these crimes. I agree.
Okay, at least we agree
I figure you guys should know the opinionator came to my chat and said both you and Isaac are beta males who defend the corrupt establishment. Manar is an alpha red pill truth teller.
Damn.
Beta.
Damn, I'm alpha.
We need the wolf picture.
I'm an
also,
alpha.
I'm streaming League, bro. I'm streaming League.
In the end, Isaac, you can pick and choose case by case. In the end, when we look at the bigger picture, Trump's economy is better. It lasted longer. The guys looks sexier.
Wait, you can't say lasted longer because we haven't seen
do I get money for the ad revenue that plays on
he's in my chat now. He
on my own Twitch?
Bro's fighting from behind the screen.
Bro, what did you guys do?
I don't know. I like Opinionator. It's pretty funny.
I know Opinionator was on your side. I don't know how I switched them.
What? No, I don't think he ever was.
I have no clue if Opinionator is trolling or not. I don't know.
No. The first thing he did when he came to my chat was talk shit. That's why I like him.
Oh, okay.
Shit. I thought he was on your side.
No. The first thing he did was call my brother Brown. Oh, wait, that might not have been him. There was someone really funny. There's a really funny commenter I had, and he came in, and he was like, I can just tell if this person's opinions that they're brown. And it was really funny because it was my brother. And if you can see the shade I am, I'm currently a shade of mayo.
Sounds like your brother is married to Lebanese.
No, my brother is single, unfortunately. I don't think he's ever been in a relationship. Poor man.
Younger brother?
Older, unfortunately, again.
Oh no.
Manar.
Manar, I'll sit down and time y'all two can talk, but you can alpha pill him.
That'd be a really funny stream. Your older brother's a virgin? Nothing's gonna save you guys.
Probably. Whoa. Who said I am, though? Okay.
Whoa. Manar, my chat earlier wanted me to ask you what your ideal woman is, by the way.
She looks like... Okay, I'll tell you what it is.
Manar, don't get yourself in trouble. Don't get yourself in trouble.
Britney Spears. I don't care if I get divorced. Britney Spears at 19.
At 19, bro?
I mean, yeah.
Literally the ideal woman. Like, she has the cute face.
What about Megan Fox? Not to be misogynist. Okay, not to be misogynist. What about Megan Fox from Transformers? Isn't that the big one people point to? Is that like ideal woman?
No, man. Britney Spears was special. I'm not gonna lie. She was like the sensation. She was like the sexy, cute girl.
I love you describing her like she's the one that got away. That's
Wallah, Britney Spears, if I was in her time, wow. Well, now you guys are pissing me off. I actually don't want to be married. That means I'm gonna have to lose all these girls.
Bro. You know what, Manar? You know what my most pro-Muslim take is? I don't think that polygamy should be. I think there should be religious exceptions to polygamy. I don't see why we're allowed to ban polygamy for Muslims and like Mormons who want to marry multiple people.
Yeah, like you put rules upon it. Like the guy has to have enough money or a certain status. You know, you can put rules upon it, or the girls actually want it. But yeah, once the special
the girls should have to want it, but.
You should give him, because think about it. The other solution is he gets girlfriends and it ruins the family. And you see what I mean?
I mean, kind of. I might be different on this. But isn't legal illegal? I mean, marriage in America isn't like a big church thing. It's more of a more legal thing. So it makes sense that they're gonna have like a lot of legal restrictions. Like, I agree that they probably should be able to get married like on paper. But when it comes to filing like their taxes, are you saying that they should be able to jointly file all? Well,
obviously, taxes is going to be. They should. Yeah, you should probably only be able to claim one person on your taxes, right? But
you guys are based on that. I actually like that position. It's a pretty.
Well, I don't know if Isaac agrees, but.
Well, I agree from like on paper standpoint. Yeah, like they should be able to be classified as married. I don't like the idea legally for like taxes though, because there would be pretty much a lot.
No. I don't agree with the secular marriage. No, that's horrible. But anyways, because this is horrible, man. This is the way to destroy religious marriage, is to force secular people to, I don't know, force them into a contract with one another and then call it marriage. That's a complete rule.
What do you think about Tim Krause? Tim, what the fuck his name is? Not Tim Crowder. That's a mix of two. Tim Pool, bro. Tim Pool said that if people want to get divorced, they should have to meet under a judge, and the judge should have to say they're okay to be divorced. That is fucking so authoritarian. It's crazy.
Yeah. Because the problem is, for us, you cannot just get divorced for anything. You have a right to divorce, but you have to have a good reason for the divorce. You have to.
That dude's a libertarian, by the way. The dude that said that.
It's crazy for a dude who
says he's libertarian, for him to say, I think that the government should have a say in what goes on in your bedroom.
I don't know about his position. I know in my position that's actually consistent with my position, because you do have a right to divorce, but you have to be able to. You have to be
able to show it, though.
Religious position, bro. You're so bad, bro.
That does seem secular.
Why did you keep fighting?
Whoa!
Why did you keep fighting?
Because I was dead. It was either I die or I keep walking and Kindred catches me. Kindred's high mobility, okay? So I either pop my heel and live, or I either just die and get a fast back. It was a fast back, okay?
Okay.
I bought items and I'm back. Yeah, that's what. Listen, I never die. I only do fast backs.
Iron Elo.
Whoa!
Iron Elo tactics.
I don't know what the hop on then.
You know what the big difference between you and me is, Manar? I don't mean this as like an insult. This is just true. Listen, I'm a tolerant guy. If you want to go off and form your little Muslim town and you marry multiple people, I'm chill with that, dude. I'm so chill with that. You can go to your Muslim majority town where you can marry multiple people.
Wait, how do Mormons do it? Mormons have many women?
No, they're not allowed to legally, but that is part of their religion, I think.
How do they do it? Yeah.
I don't know.
I know it is. I used to watch this show called Keeping Up with It was some like reality TV show where they would help women escape Mormons. My dad used to watch it a lot, so I was forced to as a kid.
I think I don't know what the exact rules are, but you're not legally allowed to marry multiple people, so.
Yeah, Nonfon, but that's the religious perspective. Like what you are.
True. The problem is
true, and I'm tolerant, bro. They're allowed to go to Utah.
What he's describing is the religious perspective to be tolerant of everyone. Because if you are a liberal, you would not be tolerant of every religion. How? Because if they break your laws, you would not give them exceptions. Like, for example, when it comes to marriage, do you give a religious exception when it comes to child support? No, you don't. Even though it's against a person's religion,
the problem is
child support, because he already gave dowry. Let me just finish my position. A person already believes he's supposed to do the right thing, so he gives his dowry up and pays for it in full early. And now, after everything's done, he's done everything right. Now you're going to force upon him this child support institution, which is a complete secular institution, has nothing to do with religious in any way. You cannot look at any scripture that calls for this child support thing. And then in the rates that you guys are calling for, and then what happens is you destroy the whole marriage. Like you forced upon this guy this secular contract, secular institution, in his religious contract, and I don't like that at all. I think that that's breaking, that's like overstepping boundaries that you don't have as a state. You shouldn't have the ability to not give religious exceptions to something like child support. But that's what they do. They don't give you a religious exception for child support. So you, as a libertarian, you're not tolerant.
Oh, I'm not a libertarian. I don't know who said they were, but I'm not. Yeah. I don't like
there are limits to tolerance, of course. None of this is absolute.
No, but let me finish. The religious perspective would be tolerant of other people's ideologies, and would abolish child support, and would allow people to live and marry in different under different churches and underneath their own contracts. Whereas the libertarian perspective would force us to go get married in the government, and force us, even though we get married in the church.
The libertarian perspective.
No, Manar, but you don't want gay marriage to be legal, right? I'm also not a libertarian, but yeah.
Yeah, that's not the libertarian perspective. The libertarian perspective is not having their government interact with them in like any way as much as they can. That's the libertarian's perspective, as much as I understand it.
But my understanding is so how does the libertarian, if he's a secular person, how does he get married?
He probably just gets married like in the form of him like confessing under God, but
he likes
in his perfect world,
he doesn't allow the government to take over the contract of marriage.
In his perfect world, he would.
Contract, which is a huge contract. I don't know how they can claim that they're small government and then they give the fucking government the biggest contract of their life, their children and their wife. Like, this is crazy how a libertarian can claim he's pro small government.
What you're saying is actually
this is
entirely
the
correct.
thing that the religious people were able to fix this. They forced enforcement arm upon the church. They forced the contract upon the church and the temple, not upon the state. So the state has nothing to do with the divorce and with the marriage. The state only has to do with the violence that happens within.
The problem is,
they have nothing to do with the kids. They have nothing to do with taking over the mother, the father, none of that, and the rights of the children and the rights of the wealth of the individuals within the family. That all has to do with the church, and you guys ruined it as libertarians. You guys took it away from the church, forced it upon the state, and now look at what we have. We have child support enforced upon all of us.
You can still get married in the church, obviously.
But. True, and also the problem is that these are heavily
legal marriage.
Yeah, well, the problem is though these are heavily like religious things that you were talking about, and we made them legal things as well. Like that's probably what where the problem stems from, right? Like if there was no taxation on top of marriage, if there was no better joint filing, if there wasn't like these legal implementations that came with marriage, you were right. All these things probably could be true. That is like a pretty big problem. Is that
the church can dive in with all of those? The church can say, "Hey, these guys have promised a contract, and they're married together." And that's it. Once you can provide the contract, they're married together, then that's it. The church is able to provide that authentication necessary. And now you can prove that they're married together. You're going to tax them that way. But the church used to be that authoritarian arm that was basically over the whole area, representative of the whole area when it comes to marriage. And now it's the government, which is the representative of the whole county, for example, when it used to be the church.
That's how
and now it's really bad. Now you don't actually have anyway. Now the church has no power. Even if they claim, yeah, these guys are married, the church is like, no, it doesn't matter. Under our contract, he broke our contract. So even though they're married under your contract, now it doesn't matter. He's liable for child support for this his life.
Why is my support? Your mid mic just died at the end. By the way. Why is my support mid? But again, the problem is though is that that's not like what America is built on. Like that's an un-American way to view it, right? America was built on the separation of church and state. The problem is though is that people still wanted these things like marriage, so obviously we had to turn to them legally instead of religiously because we were built on that separation.
What's this un-American argument? Like, what does America stand for?
America's built on separation of church
and illegality and just like.
Well, I mean, America was built on separation of church and state, though. So yeah, it's a big thing.
I know. America was built on secularism, but it was built upon the foundation of scientific foundation because of secularism. They were like, okay, we don't want church and state, but now we're going to force upon us the scientific, empirical evidence is now forced upon us. You guys are not even looking at that now. Like it's killing people's, it's ruining people's life. It's deteriorating your community. These child support institutions, they're really not effective in post-marriage when it comes to men. Yeah, maybe it protects the woman for the rest of her life. She can become a hoe and not need anybody a man to take care of her. But it really ruins everybody else's relationships. Like you guys are seculars, but you're not even using science-based evidence when it comes to your institutions that are forcing these laws upon us. Like, what is the scientific evidence that child support should be forced upon us? What's the scientific evidence?
I didn't expect us to go into red pill today, but the reason that child support is usually given to the mother is because through marriage, the mother has had to make sacrifices for their job, and that is kind of the payment that they're giving back, right? Like, would you rather the mother? Wait, would you rather the mother
please fix your mic?
True.
What?
Would you? Your mic. It's using your bad mic.
Would you rather the mother have a job and not give her child proper care, or would you what would you rather have? Like that's the trade-off, is that you're making this person not be unable to make career advancements. So obviously you're going to give them the back pay for the work they did for you and for the loss of the expertise and the position they could be in life if they didn't have a child and be married with you. Because you did get that benefit. You did get to advance in your job, right? And stereotypical marriage, right, through the 1980s, that was always a stereotype. Okay?
This is such a bad argument, by the way.
I mean, that's what the argument is, right? I agree that we're getting to a point where we are seeing women getting advanced in career fields, and we are seeing that people are going to what's it called? Where's it go where you drop your kid off? Daycares. We're seeing people go to daycares instead of actually parenting at home. But I think you would view that as a negative, Manar, knowing what I know about you.
Yeah, brain rot red pill debate.
Do you think it's a good thing that families have to?
The second the government took over marriage, you guys ruined everything. It used to be that the woman, the only way she can protect herself and to take care for the man to take care of her was that she has to get married to him. Now she can just go fuck a random dude, have his kid, and now force the government to go take care of this. I mean, you understand how much of a fucking toxic relationship it is to fuck a random girl one night, have her baby, and now you're stuck with her for the rest of your life. You understand the toxicity getting built up? They go end up killing each other.
But do you also
This is
understand?
what you guys are advocating for. What I advocate for is a religious concept where you accept everyone. If you guys want to get married, you have to go through the church. The government is not allowed to get into this contract. I don't care if we need to protect the woman. I don't give a fuck. The woman, if she wants to get protected.
In Islam, if you give your mate a baby, aren't you supposed to marry them?
And fucking cheats or divorces her husband because of irreconcilable issues with whatever.
By the way, Red Radius.
What a load of bullshit that is.
Actually, well, I don't know. I was going to say you could probably get in on this if you wanted to, but I don't know for sure. I feel like you would be allowed to, but I would have to check because this is my
let her leave. Why are you going
my server, I guess.
At least, no, this is the problem. You should be advocating that there should be religious exceptions, but you can't. Nonfon just acted like he's the tolerant one, and he will allow anyone to live in a religious perspective however they want. Well, this is anti-my religion. This child support institution is not a religious institution. It's a complete secular institution. It doesn't exist in a single scripture.
Thanks for stopping
and you're
by.
forcing it upon me. You're ruining my relationship with my own kids post-marriage. What the deal is supposed to be? She's supposed to be scared for her life, so she keeps staying with me. Now you ruined that whole dynamic. Now she can go fuck Joe Schmo, and I gotta pay for her to divorce me. This is crazy.
If I'm crazy, Manar, I might be. Your religion's actually more forward on that than America is. If you give your maid a child, aren't you supposed to marry that maid?
No, first of all, you already committed adultery, so you already ruined your family's name.
No.
Now, maybe
let's say you're unmarried. Let's say you're unmarried.
Maybe the family will force that upon you because they don't want to take care of this child by themselves. They want that dude to be responsible. They don't want him to run, and so they will force that upon you because the government doesn't. But really, in the end, what happens is the stupid family is stuck with the shitty girl's responsibilities, and she's stuck.
But yeah, Manar. But in a situation where I'm about to get stuck. One second.
What?
I said, once I'm about to get stuck. I'm being cornered.
Oh yeah,
run. So in a situation,
gray screen.
Okay, sure. Okay, that's more disrespectful than anything you've ever said to me. Okay, right there. But in Islam, isn't it the case that if you are unmarried and you give your maid a child, aren't you supposed to marry that maid?
No. There's no forcement. No, there's no.
I swear you sent me a scripture that was like that once. That
no. What we were looking at, what God allows you to marry, and it was basically what your right hand possesses. So you couldn't go and marry any slave anybody captured. It was only the slaves that were underneath your rule, or the woman that you marry. Basically, that's what the scripture we're looking at.
But if I remember, yeah, but aren't you supposed to take care of them? Wasn't that like one of the things if they had your child,
you're supposed
to take care of them?
No.
So are you able to leave
God never
people?
dives that deep. If anything dives that deep, it's the prophet and his hadith, and I don't think he dives that deep when it comes. Oh, the girl has to marry her rapist. I don't think that's actually acceptable because they might murder him. What do you mean they're gonna marry? She can't marry him if he's gonna be dead. Like they might murder him if they find him guilty.
My thing would be though, but in your religion, you're supposed to take care of like your children, aren't you? I would assume, right?
Not the rapist.
No. If you have a child with someone, you're supposed to take care of that child, correct?
Yeah, so that's why the woman gets married early, because in our culture, the woman is going to be the one taking care of the child. So let's say, for example, this woman gets impregnated outside of marriage. She already brought shame to the whole family, and I don't know, the whole family is going to shun her. But if they do decide to save her, they might advocate, hey, go marry this guy so we can shave some face. But if she fails on that too and he runs, then now they're stuck raising the kid. A lot of families are not going to accept raising the kid. They're just going to toss the girl out with the kid. So, but how is the government supposed to fix that? Oh, yeah, let's just go shove him in say, hey, because you fucked her once, even though you guys did everything wrong, she could have married you before. She didn't want to wait. And now we're going to go ahead and force you to pay for 18 years of her life, even though you have no ability to say if you want to have this child or not. And she has every say. Like, she literally, if she wants to kill this child, she can. You have no, like, look at it the other way. let's say, what is the man's rights? Like, tell me, how is this not the most racist, biggest fucking shit in the world? Nonfon is trying to advocate that you guys are tolerant. You guys are the biggest bigots in the universe.
Wait.
True. Wait, Manar, can I just briefly explain like my actual point I was making?
Let me finish my point, guys. You guys are fucking bigots. What law in history advocates for only men to be fucking prosecuted underneath this law? What a disgusting racist law.
Okay, yep, I'm bigoted.
You know women.
Okay, wait, Manar, please. I just gotta briefly explain my thing.
I'll prove to you it's racist. It's racist.
Women can also pay child support.
That is also true, woman.
Exactly, it's a fucking racist. It's a sexist law. 95% of it are all men that have to pay child support.
And what percent of people do you think are the major money makers in relationships?
This is a disgrace to you. You're the one claiming that you have a beautiful criminal justice system. This is a disgrace to you. It's a racist, sexist system that you're advocating for. 95% of the people found guilty for child support are men. And 95% of the people have to pay for it are men. And let alone, let's not get to alimony. What is that, 99.5%? Holy shit. What is more sexist and more racist than the judicial system when it comes to family court? Tell me. Tell me one thing in the universe that you can point at that's Trump, and by you're the one talking about Trump's sexism. What about this? This is our true evidence-based, precedence-based judicial law saying that, yes, we can discriminate against men because for some reason, even though men can become women, but we believe that only men should pay child support, so we're going to make 95% of men pay child support. A disgusting disgrace of a system. You guys are the one touting that I'm bigot and you're the tolerant ones.
I'm not saying you're a bigot, guys. I'm not said that about you. Okay, me and you have been misogynists together, but we've connected on no.
I'm so pissed about this because I can't give my wife a fucking baby because I'm scared that fucking dumbass girl. I don't know what can happen to her. You know, my mom divorced my dad.
First, you could get a prenup, yeah.
You know, you can get contractual obligations.
To these fucking
True. Listen, I would advocate for getting a prenup. Like, then do that. If you don't trust it, get a prenup. Okay. Obviously, you have to have that conversation.
Don't even protect you. Like, especially post marriage. Apparently, you can act like she was in duress or some shit. Like, turns out, like,
yeah, but it's really hard to. It's really hard to.
I'm pretty sure. Yeah. There'd have to be some pretty extreme circumstances.
I really don't like it because what happens is I lose all my rights. I have no religious exceptions, so I'm forced to basically destroy my own religious convictions.
Okay, wait. Could I briefly explain the justification for it? Okay, it's a your right to swing your fist ends where it hits my face, right? The thing about child support is that the argument is like it harms the woman not to be paid child support, right? And it harms the child because the child's not going to have a good enough living. The difference I was pointing out is that in my ideal society, you are perfectly free to go off and form your little Muslim town, and you can marry as many people as you want. I don't give a fuck because that doesn't harm me. But in your ideal society, my understanding, you can correct me if I'm wrong, is that like you wouldn't allow gay people to marry, for example. You wouldn't allow gay people in San Francisco to form their little gay town and marry all gay together.
No,
that was the difference I was pointing to.
Also, Nonfon. A big criticism of that view on life was, I'm just pointing out, is the problem with combining intolerant people with tolerant people is that the intolerant people will take control over
there's a paradox of tolerance, which is why tolerance isn't absolute. But I was just...
Yeah, and that's what I'm actually promising you. That's well, at least for us, we'll say, hey, as long as you guys are not over just...
Seen by two people!
No, yeah. As long as everybody's now... let's say, for example, this is how I would do the test. Prove to me this in religious scripture this is allowed, then I can allow this for you to be married. Like, prove to me through your church that this is allowed. If you can, then this is allowed. So that would be the litmus test. So that's how Muslims used to control other people's land. So whenever they conquered so much land so fast. What did they do? They didn't roll over them all. What they did was a lot of them capitulated immediately. They said, okay.
Listen, okay, I'm just saying I'm a relatively tolerant guy. Manar is literally in favor of the theocracy. I'm not even among like liberals that tolerant of a guy. Listen, okay, I read Sam Harris, okay? I understand the paradox of tolerance. I understand the dangerous ideas that certain people have. And like, I would agree with Sam Harris on a lot of things about even specifically Muslims and the ideas that Muslims have that are potentially harmful to society. That shouldn't necessarily always be tolerated. But like,
You keep your own religious convictions. We don't touch your religious convictions.
I'm just pointing out the difference between my ideal society, which is like a democratic, secular one, when Manar is perfectly free to go form his little Muslim town and do what he wants, so long as it doesn't harm other people, versus Manar's society, which is an Islamic theocracy, where people aren't allowed to do, the gay people in San Francisco aren't allowed to be gay together.
Wouldn't stop it, then maybe they would advocate to stop it. But it would always be stopped by the church, usually, because there's no religious entity that you can prove and show scripture for that advocated for sodomy, because it's a not natural thing that it destroys society. So it makes sense the religions never advocated for it. So basically, you can't actually prove it through church and scripture. So this would be our threshold. But you can see throughout the Islamic history, we conquered lands, we gave them their rights, they kept their churches, we never toppled them, we never told them, you're forced to become Muslim. We did force them, hey, if you don't pay the jizya and you're now Muslim, then you're gonna fight us and you're gonna die. And whoever survives is gonna
based red radius. See, God had to make it tempting though. God had to make it tempting. He had to make it a little bit tempting.
Muslim or die. It was become Muslim.
So his true followers would learn to resist the temptation. That's it. Yeah.
So they were allowed that religious freedom. It's actually, I would argue, more because they had their own churches. For enforce their own laws. Like the Muslim law never showed up on any states or any cities that accepted jizya. The second the state accepted jizya, as long as they paid jizya, they did not care about that
so much. I love that clip so much.
Of course, it wouldn't like.
Manar's probably heard it before.
Muslims or disgracing the population, and a lot of people disgracing basically society. They would interfere.
I want to see if I can bring it up. It's funny.
So that was the only system I can point to where an actual government, which is the Muslim government, let another government rule over its own party and its own society by itself with its own laws, even after they've been captured. I can't see that in any other time. Roman Empire used to just destroy the people, fuck all the girls, and just change the whole name of the country. And they would change the name of the city.
But you understand essentially what you're advocating there for is a theocracy, right?
What I'm advocating for is a theocracy. Yes, I think, yeah, but I think you're advocating for that too, because if you want to be a tolerant person, you have to advocate for theocracy, because the only intolerants are non-theocrats. The only intolerants are the libertarians.
He's kind of right. When there's a legal problem between both your gay town and your Islam town, do you set up a justice system above that, or do you make them decide? Like, what do you do in yours?
Well, I mean, you would have to. I mean, I'm a secularist, right? So we are going to set up a secular government, which I understand Manar thinks that's inherently intolerant of his religion, I guess, but...
Well, it would have to be, but when a decision comes up, it would have to be inherently tolerant to one of those religions if they have a disagreement, right?
Well, it's, again, like, tolerance isn't... I understand what you're saying, but tolerance isn't absolute, right? I don't believe in absolute tolerance, is what I'm...
So let's say the Islam, let's say the Islam...
provide exceptions?
Let's say the Islam town.
Exceptions. I proved it. Child support. Look at that. No exceptions. Zero exception. Even if you're you can be a quadriplegic, 4 arms and 4 legs cannot move, and you still have to pay child support.
I mean, what if he's loaded, bro? He could be making bank on motivational speakers.
Also, from what I know about child support, usually it comes from who is the breadwinner. So if that paraplegic dude was the breadwinner, hey, bro, he can give some bread up, okay?
Yeah, exactly.
Bro, it's very rare women have to pay child support. It's such a sexist
True,
law.
But I'm gonna ask you again,
because women usually aren't the breadwinners.
What do you think percentage of household by income? Like, what do you think is the majority of who do you think is the main income owner in any family?
No, that's true. That was true 50 years ago, but now we're seeing that women are such a big. They're actually outperforming men in every criteria
in schools,
when it comes to scholarships. Like when it comes to school, they're outperforming men. When it comes to scholarships, they're outperforming men. When it comes to enrollment in school, they're outperforming men. When it comes to graduation, they're outperforming men. When it comes to getting hired, it feels like they're outperforming men after college.
I don't know about that.
I swear, it feels like they're outperforming men everywhere.
Maybe in educated jobs because they're better.
And now still men and it's still 90% for child support for men.
Probably because it's still, because I'm going to make a claim here and I could be wrong. Probably because it's still 95% of the men that are the breadwinners. Do you understand that by saying 95, you inherently show that it's not racist or sexist, because that means that 5% of women are paying child support over the men?
But no, because the exception doesn't make the rule. If the overall people that are getting affected are black people, would you say that traffic stops are inherently non-racial, non-racist? If 95% of traffic stops are affecting black people, you would say, whoa, what the fuck? If 95% of these black traffic stops are all indicting black people, would say, whoa, either the black people are the problem, which obviously that's racist, or the law has a problem with it, and that's what's happening. The law has a problem with it, and you guys are not. It's not catching up. It's not catching up with the times. For some reason, girls still believe there's a patriarchy when there's no patriarchy. I mean, they're outperforming men in every criteria, and they're acting like they're still being victimized.
I'm not here to defend women, but
that means if they're outperforming men and they're still victimized, when are they never going to be victimized? Do you see what I mean? That means men are going to be stepped on.
Do you think women are outperforming men in income, though?
Also, yeah, as of right now, they still earn 16% less than men.
That's true. Income, but that's because they choose these shit jobs. Like a man will go choose to be in an oil rig and work 75 hours a week, whereas she wants to become a daycare worker at $12 an hour. Go fuck yourself.
But in the same breath, you said women are getting the better jobs.
No.
Earlier, you said that women are getting more jobs in STEM.
They're intellectually speaking, you cannot. They're outperforming men. So maybe, but look, the problem is a college degree does not correlate with a good job. You're right.
That's entirely false.
We're seeing them. They're graduating more than men, but they're not getting better jobs.
What you just said is entirely false.
They choose these trash jobs not because they don't have opportunities. It's because they don't want these jobs. They don't want to be an oil rig person that makes $100K. Right after school, even though working 60 hours a week, because they don't want to do that. They want to go and be in an
because people who are on oil rigs don't go to college. That's why. But also on top of that,
but even when they do graduate, they don't even go and do their field. They usually are HR workers or teachers, or it's something has nothing to do with their graduation. Like they graduate psychology or liberal arts degree, and then they're surprised they're a barista. Like, come on, man. Like,
but that's just what you're saying is just contrary to the facts.
Yeah. So just data-wise,
look at it. Hey, look, I'll prove to you. Look at girls. Overwhelmingly, men enroll in STEM fields, whereas girls enroll in liberal arts degrees. If they really care about money and the future, you would see them enrolling in these STEM fields. This is where the money is at. Engineering, doctors. Well, what you're seeing them, the only part when they get into STEM is mostly in medicine. But most of that, other than that, it's all HR, it's all liberal arts, it's all like social and humanitarian bullshit. And they don't care about making money. They care about being happy and something else. Their incentive is different. That's why we cannot say, oh, they make less money. They don't actually care about it. Even after they graduate, they pick these 20-hour-a-week positions that fucking do nothing. And yeah. And they get married to a rich dude. I mean, fuck, these girls.
I mean, though, on average, though, people with college degrees are going to make $1 million over the people without them.
It literally, even this liberal arts degree basically doubles your lifetime income.
Yeah, but also, you know what? Also,
and also, weren't you just saying that women were getting more positions in STEM? I don't.
No.
No, he was saying women were getting more positions in college jobs, but not good jobs like STEM. Is what he was. I think he was pointing
at.
Okay.
Yeah. They don't, like if you guys are trying to argue they're not making money. My argument is even they are graduating more than men, but they're picking shit degrees. And also, even when they do graduate in good degrees, like let's say she becomes an engineer, becomes an engineer for 2 years, then she goes and she leaves, she gets pregnant, and now she's I don't know, she does part-time beauty and some sales person. I don't know, some bullshit. You know what I mean? That's what happens to every girl. She graduates. It's 2 to 5 years maximum. After that, she has kids and she leaves her whole career.
Wait, exactly. That's what I was about to say. She has kids and she leaves her whole career. Yes, you understand that women are usually the one that make the sacrifice when they have a child. There's a lot of data behind this. Women's average yearly income drops significantly after having the first child, and it never recovers. The woman is usually the one making the sacrifice when it comes to childcare. Whatever,
man. So would you say a man working 16 hours a week a day is not making a sacrifice? Like, how is the woman... Like who
sacrifice to her career when it comes to money, when it comes to earning money.
Let me ask you this. Sorry, that was a bad question. Let me ask you this question. This is better. Answer this one. Is a mother who's to blame if the kid cannot okay, let's say there's 2 kids in the house and the mother fed only one kid because there's no food and pick and choose between which kid to feed. So she fed this kid over that kid. Who do you blame? Do you blame the mother for picking the older kid to feed over the younger kid, or do you blame the father that he didn't provide for them so she can feed both of them adequately? Who do you blame?
you would blame the mother. I mean, I would assume if they have enough food to adequately feed both
If you
of them.
don't have enough food, it was let's
Oh,
say she had to pick and choose because the father didn't bring up the food. So who's to blame? Is it her to be blamed that she picked the other one of these kids to be fed over the other, or is it the blame of the father that he's the reason that these kids are not eating, or one of the kids is not eating because he didn't provide enough?
that's a weird.
It's the fault of the parents. I mean, I would guess it would be the father for not, supplying
Supplying
the food.
I want to get you.
But you understand the point of child support is that the father does have to pay to support his child.
The father has a responsibility. No, the father has a responsibility over the family. That's why you can blame the father. You would never blame the mother. You would never say, "Why the fuck didn't the mother go and work?" You guys didn't. You didn't question. You're like, "Why isn't she going to work?" No, you immediately were like, "Whoa, the father should be the one providing the money. He didn't provide the money. There's no food. So how can you blame the mother? She's a poor girl sitting there." So that's what I'm proving. I'm proving to you guys that the mother is not necessarily actually the one that has all the problems falling upon it. It's actually the father that has all the responsibility. It seems to you because she's spending most of the time with the kids that it's the mother, like the you know what I mean? It's the mother, but it's actually the father has all the responsibility.
I'm just saying, monetarily, usually the sacrifice falls on a woman. Usually the career sacrifice falls on a woman, which is why child support exists. It's to pay monetarily to the mother. Because usually, usually she had to give up money in her career.
I know, but they're gladly do that. Like when a mother has a kid anyway, she doesn't want to go on work. She looks for a guy to sit down and takes care of her. Like she doesn't want somebody. She doesn't want to get up and go work. Like already she knows, like, I'm gonna have a kid, so I want to be able to spend my time with the kid. Like, do you guys really believe a woman wants to have a kid and then wants to leave the kid? And all women would love to raise the kid up to 18, but what happens, they get forced to leave at 2 years, after 2 years. So if she is able to, she would love for somebody to take care of her for the rest of her life. So this is actually not a real argument, because I don't know what a woman advocates to leave the kid.
Why are we seeing the exact opposite? Why are we seeing women like go for other jobs and try to advocate for getting their kids in like child service areas like daycares? Like, why are we seeing that then?
Yeah, what we're seeing is I think this is my opinion. I could be wrong. I think there's a propaganda campaign happening, and I've actually tested it, and it seems to be true. This bear versus man question, for example. This is clear as day. This is clear as day. Social programming affecting the brains of our girls. They have been socially programmed to hate men.
I think there's been way more social programming that women are forced to be mothers and that they have to give up their jobs.
No, actually, I would actually argue against that. For example, let's say the example of this girl that she was 19 and her sister's 18, and her sister got a scholarship going to college. Everyone is praising the 18-year-old sister, whereas the older sister, they say, "Oh my God, no, she's pregnant. She lost all her future. Her future is gone. Now she has to sit at home. We can't even send her to school. We got to take care of this baby. No, all her opportunities gone. This poor girl."
But that's criticism off their age, not off them being a female with a child.
That the 18-year-old's being praised for going to college and becoming an independent woman, whereas the other girl's being disgraced, brought down for becoming a mother, saying that she's bringing shame to the family. Yeah.
Yeah, but that's off of circumstances, not off them being like a woman with a child. That's because they can't go to school because they're pregnant. That was like the criticism.
No, I'm saying that's a social programming, the social programming that's happening is it's making women hate being mothers.
That's because at the time of being 18, you probably shouldn't be a mother.
And they're looked up upon if they were boss babes that went to school and build up $100,000 in debt.
But do you think it's been like that like the last 10 years or like the last 80?
No, I would say it's been like that the last 40 to 50 years, because women used to celebrate motherhood, and now they're actually basically disgraced. Like if a woman gets pregnant early, they'll tell her, "Hey, you lost your future, baby. I'm sorry. Pack up your bags. Pack up your bags. Now you're a single mother." And the whole family looks down upon her. They're sad to her. Whereas, let's say she's 18, instead of getting pregnant, she's getting fucked by randos left and right. She's not pregnant. She's getting fucked by randos. She's not married. She has a 35-40 body count. But you got a college degree.
I don't
look,
even
her
know.
family's so happy.
I don't know
Whatever,
what's
man.
happening. I don't know. I don't even know what his disagreement is right now,
man.
quite
This is
frankly.
proof that the social society doesn't actually care about these women becoming successful people. They want to care about programming them away from their innate nature, which is to have kids. They make them feel bad to get pregnant early. They make them feel like they ruin their lives. All propaganda, all the TVs about her ruining her life if she gets pregnant. How she needs to get birth control as early as possible. The therapist is telling her that. Her doctor is telling her that. Her TV is telling her that. Her teacher is telling her that. What are you talking about?
So, Manar, let's say you have a kid, right? At 18, okay? And then you are a single parent raising that kid. Or do you think you're
Guys,
more
I have
able to go
5
to
more minutes.
college?
I gotta take my baby out to a nice dinner. It's gonna be IHOP tonight, baby. Let's go.
Don't let him watch the stream. Don't let him watch the Britney Spears comment. You would hear about that the entire dinner. Okay, But yeah, man. First, when you come back, okay, I'm telling you, next stream, it better be me and you playing League. But no,
no problem. But yeah, go ahead. Let's finish up.
But again, though, I feel like when you look at it, though, I just sent statistics, even as I showed back there, like the women weren't like in the career fields as much as they are today. And on top of it, yeah, I feel like it's a natural trade-off.
Wait, if I come back later today, would you play with me, League?
Fuck yeah, of course.
Okay. I might come back in like 3 hours, but go ahead.
I'll start, bro. Don't worry. I'll sit in that practice tool. I'll sit in that practice tool, bro. Since you want to critique all my gameplay,
I'll try my best. I'll try to speed up, but yeah, go ahead. What was you saying?
I was saying that when you just look at it, like even the statistics show that like women haven't always been like as progressed in careers as they are like in this like 10-year group, right? Like, and so maybe maybe you're right. There should be like advocacy for a change, but the problem is when it comes to child support, it's not like it's predetermined that it is male. I do agree that there are probably some social norms that lead judges to sway in the weight of female, and that's probably is wrong. We should probably focus off of who makes the most money, who is the primary caregiver of the child, and I would agree. But it's not like the law is set up like that to be discriminatory towards men in the aspect of they think that they're the ones always making money and they think they're the only ones that aren't being child caretakers. It's the way society worked.
You have to agree with me. Yeah, it's the way society works. But if we care about a society that's secular, the only other standard we have to look at it, if it's secular, it's not the religious standard, not the religious moral standard. We have to look at the science-based moral standard.
If you actually look into the stats of it, it's like
says that women
people claim shit's biased against men. So like a lot of cases lead to like voluntary agreements. I think only like a very small amount of court cases actually lead to any type of mandated agreement. Usually it's pretty voluntary.
And we see all these statistics basically lining up with single motherhood is basically the destruction of society, and single fatherhood.
Yep. I would agree on that aspect.
See, yeah. So even though it's bad, single fatherhood is bad. It's actually as equatable to a double household. Like it's actually the outcomes from the kids is as equatable to a double household. So you would think if you're a law that doesn't care about religion standards and you have your own standard, which is a science-based standard, you would look at the scientific statistical data and proclaim that now, legally speaking, the man should be the one prioritize time with the kid. Especially after the age of 5, for example, with this mother is actually basically obsolete to the kid. It's actually detrimental to the kid. Now we need a man to be there. So you would think that this legal system would actually follow that now men are being given more child support and given the priority when the kids. But what you're seeing is this racist system being perpetuated. And now it's all being perpetuated based on preconceived.
My understanding is that in the vast majority of cases, the man voluntarily gives up custody to the child. That's usually what happens.
Also, in 89% of cases, the caregiver to children is the woman. In 89.9.
What? 89.9 what? Yeah, they get
89.9% of the time. No, in 89.9% of the time, the woman is the primary caregiver in the home for the child.
Yeah. Oh, primary caregiver. Yeah, because the guy has to go and feed the children. Yeah, and she.
So doesn't that line up with your 95%? Aren't those statistics pretty close?
Yeah, like the man, but I advocate that the man takes care of the kids, but I don't advocate the woman leaves him and then he's stuck with a child support bill for the rest of his life. That's not religious. That's not in any scripture. That's not based on anything. No scientific data can actually advocate for this. I don't know where that came from, the system, secular system. Can somebody explain to me why this child support system is being pushed? Like, what is the scientific data behind it?
It's just supposed to be what's in the best interest of the child. Yeah, I don't know if it's based on, I don't know exactly where it came from, but
it's probably in the best interest of the child to be with a primary caregiver of that child and to have money to live. So that's where that comes from. Would you say
the best interest of the child is for the mother shut the fuck up and stay with the father because we see, or the best interest of the child is to be given to the father completely, and the mother should be paying child support, so the father should become the caregiver. Basically, that's how I would argue. If it's a science-based legal system, it's just not a science-based legal system. It's a preconceived conditioning based legal system. Is really what I'm saying.
Didn't you just argue that women are always gonna are in your religion and in biology? Aren't they supposed to be the caretaker of the child?
Yeah,
didn't you argue that a little bit ago?
So
then who should they leave the child in the care of?
Yeah, I don't know.
No, wait. In a situation
against that, so why is 95% of the child support going to women if all women and men are equal?
Wait. I'm just arguing for your. I'm arguing from your POV though.
But no,
do you think that?
How can you use argument? How can you use my argument of the religious system for your system? Your system is a secular
because this is what you're advocating
for. It
should not
be like this. It shouldn't be using as a religious
and
standard.
It's not.
Which is most men. No, but it's not using scientific standards. Not using anything besides
what scientific standard?
Because the scientific standard says that women are actually getting hired
performing 16% under women and men in jobs right now. That's what
and it drops even more after the first child.
They're all taking care of themselves, so they can provide for themselves. So why the fuck is the man?
I'm seeing 16% less on average.
I mean, you can look at the graph I sent in the chat.
If all women, no, but it doesn't correlate. You have a secular society, so all your women are free. So why the fuck 99% of the men are paying for child support? That means either all your women are lazy, or in general, women do not provide. So this is you're strengthening my religious arguments. Your system is a failed system.
Manar, who do you think should raise the child if it had to be down to a choice, the man or the woman?
Woman for sure, but that's not what you advocate for. Your system
wait.
that men and women are interchangeable.
All I'm saying is,
it's whoever qualifies more for the position.
And we agree. True, that's exactly what it is. That's why it's 95 and not 100.
Which is why the women are usually...
If a man is seen to be more necessary and more good for the kid, which is what the scientific data is showing, that men create better offspring, if they're left alone single,
I think you need a man
you should be advocating. Then all the child support should be going for the men. But no, what you're seeing is the women are getting all the child support. Why? Because you're using a sexist ideology. You're being sexist. You guys are acting like all men and women are the same, but then you're being sexist and discriminating against them, forcing them to take care of all the bills. So you guys are sexist when you feel like it. See, this is what I'm talking about. Completely intolerant system.
I am sexist when I feel like it.
Who do you think? So wait, if we agree that women are the better caretakers, if we agree that women are the primary caretakers, why do you think it should be any different for who should to give care to the child? Where's the switch? If you agree that women are the better caretakers or the primary caretakers most of the time, then shouldn't the case be that most of the time the women should stay the caretakers?
No, yeah, I agree, but your society...
the society agrees. That's what society thinks.
No, your society doesn't agree, actually. The standard your society is looking at is actually disproving that fact. It actually disproves that women are the better caretakers. It proves that men are better caretakers, actually, when they're left alone with the children. It proves that men are able to provide longer. It proves that men are capable to make more money. So it actually proves that the men should be the primary caretakers of the children. So you cannot use my argument against me, because that's my argument. If you use the religious
He's on his fucking Islamic
problem. You can't use my argument.
I don't know, man.
Is the woman is capable of doing everything the man is. So why the fuck does the man have the responsibility of taking care of the woman? Who can answer that except God? I don't know. God forced that upon the man. Whereas in your society, the woman can do anything that the man can do. And what you do is you force that the man capitulate to the woman, so you have no responsibility and authority over the woman, but still you have to capitulate and pay for the woman to survive and to go fuck other dudes in the end. So he has no authority over the woman, and he has all responsibility over the woman. So your system has a fallacious system. My system at least gives authority over the woman, but gives the responsibility for the man. Whereas your system removes all authority from the man and gives all responsibility to the man. So at least my system is not fallacious like yours.
I think the problem, though, I think you're running into is that your system would be more extreme than ours.
But my system is actually
in Islam, I think you would agree that women are the primary caretakers. So if a situation came down to it, they would always think the woman should be the caretaker, other than extreme circumstances.
In Islam, there's no child support. Can you believe that? So when she decides to divorce you,
her
ass is kicked out into the fucking road. Just with her and your babies, you usually fight for them, you keep them, but her ass gets kicked out. It's none of your business. What the fuck? You already gave her a dowry.
Also, I could be wrong. You are supposed to protect your children. They do.
You also have to take care of her.
They do have child support in a roundabout way, though. Aren't you supposed to take care of your child?
Bro, you take care of the child. Why are you paying her? Why you take care of the child? She brings him over. You pay.
True, but taking care of a child means many things. Taking care could mean financially supporting them.
Paying her, sending her money to her bank account. You pay the child by giving the child money or by giving him food. You're not paying her. None of her business. What the fuck? I'm still alive. You don't just no. This is the problem for you guys. Is you have a system that removes all rights from the man and then forces responsibility upon the man.
Even your statistics showed that 5% of the time they win.
But you have to take care of them. This is crazy.
But wait, you even cited it yourself. 5% of the time, the men are given child support. That's crazy. It's so against them that they do win some of the times, even though they're not the primary caregiver in the average circumstance.
Yeah, so those are exceptions. It could be that there's such a big exception.
5% is a pretty big exception, though.
Like the woman, it could be that the women are so ridiculously overpaid that the judge could not, in his right mind, or maybe it was appealed. I'm sure it was appealed. But the idea that this is something, no. Of course, yeah, man. Hey, man, don't worry. Go, divorce your wife and go. Let's see which one of you is gonna get child support. As if it's gonna be a surprise that when you know that you as a man.
Well, it's always gonna be who's the primary caregiver. I feel like. Well, I'm saying is there are circumstances. It's not based off of what the gender is. It's off of who is the primary caregiver. That's who gets custody of the child.
Entar, come talk to me with respect. You disrespectful.
Also, I remember I could be wrong, but most of the time, the reason that child support's given is because isn't the father trying to give up custody of the child in the circumstances?
Usually the child voluntarily, or the dad voluntarily gives up custody, and it's part of the agreement.
Yeah, exactly. He should be
because
have his right.
It's cheaper.
Wants to leave me. I'm leaving you. Get the fuck out of here.
It's cheaper, but also it's cheaper to give $600 a month to $800 a month than to pay for that child's life. I think we would agree.
No, it's illegal. Hey, we'll talk about this a lot more. It's actually
we can dig into this.
You cannot find in any single scripture. There literally is
our rights don't run off of scriptures, though.
That you guys made it a complete legal thing. And it's not only that, you garnish his wages. It's fucking crazy. So you go chase him. So he leaves the country. No, you go chase him. And you go and start chasing his money.
That usually happens when people commit crimes, yes.
I couldn't believe it.
It is a crime it's a crime.
But you have to understand that there's a lot of nuance when it comes to these courts and these systems, and you have to be able to give leeways. And if you do not give leeways and you do not give exceptions, this is what I'm asking for. You have to be able to give exceptions. If I can prove religiously I don't need to pay child support, if I can prove that I wasn't the one in the wrong here, if I can prove I can provide for my children in another way, why am I still having to pay child support against my religious convictions?
The problem with a lot of religious exemptions is people use them even when they're not a part of that religious exemption, right? Like, do you know how many Republicans claim that they were Christians so they didn't have to get the vaccine in some circumstances? Like, that's what we saw. Like, I'm not advocating for or against religious exemptions. You're probably right in some aspect, but not completely all the way into the extreme. But that's because, again, I'm going to say it again, when it comes to marriage, that's a very legal thing, right? That's why our America built up marriage as a legality thing, not a religious thing. And we were built on the idea of separation of church and state, right?
Yep.
Like, it's a big thing.
Yeah, it's a totally different thing. And so that's why I think there's all I want to say is maybe there's something for America to learn from different governments and different systems, different legal systems, because they've been working traditionally for a long time. So maybe they have some kind of merit. The idea that you're just in the modern world, so you throw everything and you rely on scientific evidence, and then when I prove to you, scientifically speaking, the data conflicts.
I don't think data conflicts are, though. It's very hard. I might be wrong, but
because all women are being hired, not my business that they fucking pick trash positions.
Yet they still make 16% on average.
Tell me it's my fault I make $65K because I fucking graduated from engineering and I worked my ass off as a machinist for 12 years. You're gonna tell me it's my fault that this bitch, she fucking just graduated liberal arts degree, zero information, zero knowledge in anything, doesn't know anything, didn't do anything except a barista. She deserves $65K too. Why? That you cannot advocate. That makes no sense, man. I worked my ass off for her. You cannot put the blame on me that I make more than her. because I worked my ass off and she's fucking lazy. That's none of my business. She's lazy. She's a piece of shit. She doesn't make money. It's none of my business. I had to work my ass off. Same position. Say we have the same exact ability to make everything. Everything is open for me. Actually, she has a better. She probably has more chance of getting the position I'm applying for than me because of DEI and all these inclusion bullshit. So I cannot sit here and claim that she makes less money than me because of systemic bullshit. No, there's no systemic problems at all. She makes less money than me literally because she's lazier than me. That's it. And she's dumber than me. There's no other reason.
You're making the same argument against systematic racism. Like that's the same argument that you hear with like, oh, well, black people don't have systematic racial injustice. They just commit crime more. Like that's it's such a bad.
Yeah, black people are lazy. If they don't want to fight, if black people have been proven they don't make enough money, they're fucking lazy. It's none of my business, man. The fuck? What's none of my business? Why the fuck are you lazy? You're gonna tell me systemic? Honestly, no. The black person has no actual argument for systemic racism because then the Mexican has an argument. Mexican has no argument for systemic racism. Then the Chinese has an argument. Chinese has no argument for systemic racism. Who the fuck has the argument? Nobody has the argument. I'm definitely not the black person. That's for sure. The black person is lazy if he's gonna try to say that he's systemically being oppressed. Bullshit. You're lazy. Bullshit. You have every opportunity open to you. Give me one opportunity. You literally sue the person. If you believe your hiring manager did not hire you because you're black, you literally have a lawsuit case against him. Like there's nothing more blatant than this. You can go to an interview and sue somebody. He didn't even promise you the position. You can still sue him. What do you mean there's no opportunity that this black person has that me as an Arab, I have more than him? What the fuck? Besides because I'm smarter.
So why do you think you're smarter?
Well, it's none of my business if he's stupid. The average in America is overweight compared to the rest of the world. The average in America is fucking low IQ compared to the rest of the world. Maybe he's just an average American.
Well, on average, I don't think Americans are stupid. Like, don't people fly to America for education? Like, I'm pretty sure that's a thing that's.
I'm pretty sure compared to the rest of the world, we're good. Maybe the rich countries you might be a little bit behind, but
yeah. No, I'm sure the middle schooler is worse in America, but I know the high schooler is worse for sure. But Nonfon might agree with me. The middle schooler is dumber than any other middle schooler in the world.
Maybe, I don't know. But
I think my point's going to be, though, is that whenever we see these, like, racial injustice, like, what they point to is they're saying that, look at this bill, look how it disproportionately affects black people. Are you going to make the claim that disproportionately affects black people because they disproportionately commit this crime because of their race? Or maybe because of the...
It's hard. It's hard for you to just look at something and say it's because they're black. You have to look at the actual nuance of the case. Like,
yes,
every single case there was a gun too. So are we gonna say it was black or because they had guns? Which one is the bigger evidence based?
You are right. You can't look at it as a whole and say it's because by race, because that would be wrong. So then why do you look at it by sex and say the exact same? Why do you look at it by race and say, well, it's because of their race?
That's probably the only thing you can look at. That you can look at race and say, hey, the mother is more nurturing and the father, I guess even that, sure, I can show you some feminine dudes now. But this is, I don't know what this argument is. I don't even know where we're going.
I'm saying that you're making the claim, you're on one breath saying this claim is bad to do because it is like wrong. And then in the same breath, you're making the same claim but over another group of people. You said that you're right. When it does come to systematic racism, we do have to look at like the external factors and that we can't just look at the factors of what is going on. And we can't just make the claim that it is based off of race. But then when it gets to the women, you're like, but obviously it's based off their sex. Like they're choosing the wrong jobs. They're doing this and this. Like you're making the same type of arguments you hear conservatives make about systematic racism.
Oh, you tell me then why else are they being picked? Because systemic racism?
Why? Wait, which one? What are you talking about? This
why are women not being picked?
Because doing the last job?
Because systemic racism. You really believe black people when they say they're being systemically racist against? You really believe them?
Do I? Yes, I believe in systematic racism. Call me crazy, okay?
You really believe in systemic racism?
Yes.
How can you prove systemic racism? Prove it.
So they've done, you mentioned earlier they've done studies where they literally send resumes to employers anonymously, and
my side, I can prove, for example, the child support system is completely racist and systemic. I can prove that.
Okay, that's fine. But they've done studies where they send a bunch of resumes to employers, and they have found bias against black-sounding names. They've done studies. There was the big Veil of Darkness study where they found black people are way more likely to be pulled over during the daytime, where the cop could see their skin color. That was analyzing like 100 million traffic stops. There was another study in North Carolina that I think analyzed like 15 million traffic stops and found that black people were more likely to be pulled over, but actually less likely to have contraband in their car.
During the daytime, though. Only during the daytime where they.
In Mexico, when I drove, I got pulled over 3 times, and I'm a gringo because I'm a gringo. Yeah, every country's like that. Hey,
so then you agree. Then you agree based on race. You just made Sure.
Okay. Based on race.
Yeah, that's the problem. We should try.
That's not systemic. That's not the system. They're like, hey, hey, this is black people. That could be an individual case. Like, individually speaking, they're racist, but that's not the system. Like, show me in the system it says pull up unproportionately black people. Like, you have to be able to show that. Oh. But if you're gonna show that individually speaking, these people are just picking up black people, and it has nothing to do with the systemic thing. That's literally the whole argument for the IDF. You cannot prove intention, so we're going to be able to keep doing whatever we want to keep doing. And that's the same thing. You cannot prove intention.
It's called systematic racism because it's systematic. It's not direct racism.
It's not intentional.
Obviously, there's not calls to directly...
No, it has to be systemic. You have to be able to prove there's systems of pushing it forward.
Disproportionately affect. Not that the intent was to disproportionately affect, though. You need to show that it does disproportionately affect these types of people.
No, you have to... No, that's racism. Systemic racism, you have to prove there's a system created to oppress
that is disproportionately affecting, but it doesn't have to be created with the intent to oppress these people. This is just like a semantic argument, but yeah, it doesn't mean that it was intended to do these effects. Like the crack cocaine bill, the crime bill was made to make crack cocaine. Was it crack cocaine more time than was crystal more than powder? Yes, right. The problem with that is that it disproportionately affected black people because they were more likely to acquire it cheaper because of the. Okay.
Let me ask you this. Let's say the laws are now harder. And I need to go out of this after this, guys. Let's say the laws are harder for drugs. Okay? The laws are really, really strong for drugs. Is it racist that now we're hanging out that we look throughout the whole city and then we find out that all of the drugs are mostly concentrated? Now, there are drugs up north and there are drugs up east, but they're mostly all concentrated in the southwest area where the blacks and the Mexicans are living. And so we're going to be doing most of our patrols in that area. And of course, when we do most of our patrols in the area, of course, we're going to be catching much more plaque and grabbing those. Does it seem to you that there's a system, or is it that, the investigation forced us to go there, and this is actually paying off because once we went there, we started catching.
You understand the CIA did, like, they're proven to have done this, flood black communities with like cocaine to destabilize them, right?
Also, that argument doesn't work for some of the things I mentioned earlier, where like black people are more likely to be pulled over, but less likely to have contraband.
Also, it was really funny in the study. I don't know if we're referencing the same study. In the studies, by the way, they were more likely to be pulled over during the daytime.
Yeah, that was the Veil of Darkness study.
My example is saying it makes sense why they're patrolling more in the blacks area because the blacks area has more drugs. Not that the blacks there's a system being oppressing them. No, it's that there's more drugs in that black people area, and so there's more patrolling, and so you see more people getting caught in that area because usually if you're just patrolling the whole city and you have no goal, it's hard for you to find, like, besides infractions, I guess. Whereas this guy, I guess he's also catching infractions, but they're all happening in the patrolling area, which is that ghetto area.
So if you so this is kind of a circular argument though, because you're saying, well, obviously there's more crime in these areas, so obviously they're going to patrol them more. But the reason there's more crime in those areas is because they're over patrolling them and catching those crimes more and more, right?
Interesting. We'll get there tomorrow.
Like, if there's 20,
you'd also have to take a step back and say, okay, well, why is it that black people are committing more crime? Is it something genetic, or does it perhaps have to do with namely poverty is going to be the big thing?
Yep, poverty is the biggest contributor to crime. That and desperation.
All right, sounds good. Guys, I want to stay here, but I gotta get out of here.
No, you're good. You go on your day. Go on your day, bro. On God. Don't let us hold you up.
Hey, Isaac, I'm gonna. Man, I can't wait to kick your ass.
Whoa! Whoa!
He got me on the game. I swear, I'm pissed because I was out of it for so long.
I'm gonna get Nonfon to play. I've been trying to convince him. I'm gonna get him.
Bro, the game is fucking amazing. They changed everything. They changed the jungle. They changed items. They changed runes.
Yep, you can now get Pokemon.
I don't know what any of those words means. That's a bunch of nonsense, bro.
He's hearing moon runes over here. Yeah, he's hearing moon runes over here.
All right,
you'll like it.
See you tomorrow, okay? Take care, Nonfon. Take care, Isaac.
See you, man. Stay safe.
Peace, boys.
Well, I did not expect that arc to go the way it did, but listen, I still like him. Okay, I love Manar, bro. He's my
Manar's fun, man.
He's also content, but that was You got like 3 videos out of that, okay?
I could, yeah. I got some good shorts. Got some good YouTube videos. Shorts. I'm upset. My the last video I did reacting to Destiny got like 2,000 views, but this new one has not blown up, unfortunately. I think I might have uploaded it too late, honestly.
You didn't hit the algorithm?
Yeah, I didn't do it in time.
I was on a podcast and they were talking about it. I know there's an effect where a creator will get like one good big video, and then they'll start expecting every video to get to that number, and then when it doesn't, they like get upset.
Oh well, yeah. I mean that happens. But I was expecting, well, because it was like reacting to Destiny, and that's what seemed to work. I was like, oh, this video will probably do pretty well because it's literally the same thing. But yeah. But you know what? That Trump debate that we had with Manar got 100 views. That was pretty cool.
Bro, I left like 9 times during that. I was in 2 debates unironically at once because I went out and talked to my parents about what I was talking about, and then they wanted to debate me on it. So then I was unironically going back and forth and debating. Yeah.
Awesome,
one of these days, I think I'm going to do what Hassan does, and on Thanksgiving, I'm going to debate them on stream because that'd be really fun.
Yeah.
I had a few things. What was I going to say? Because I know I wanted to talk to you. Yeah. Yeah, I was gonna talk about this, but I did want to wait until we gonna have Manar. I don't agree. I agree with people politically on a lot of things, but then when I look at like the people in this space who agree with me politically, I just don't like them as a person based off what they've done.
Like, I mean, yeah. Do you mean like the more left-leaning people that seem to be kind of?
Some of them are crazy. Some of them even agree with me, and some of them will be. Listen, I'm not one to snitch, okay? Because they did invite me here over goodwill. But bro, some people are just genuinely misogynist on their own alone time. And like maybe I'm too much of a feminist, bro. But it's crazy.
I mean, listen, it's the Twitch streaming space, right? Like the majority of people, if you have time to spend a ton of time Twitch streaming like I do, you're probably an incel, okay? Probably a solid correlation there.
But I just want to advocate, bro, for like maybe we could have these ideas and also not be a terrible human, okay? And I'm trying. I think I said this a few times with you guys, but I never mentioned it like directly. Yeah, I'm trying to do less debates now because I want to focus on researching more because I feel like Jesus Christ. How many people do you see on debate panels, and then how many people do you see do fucking research streams?
Research streams.
It's disproportionately insane. Like, listen, I'll give you. I never like complimenting you, Nonfon, but goddamn, you'll actually do research streams, okay? And I genuinely want to do a stream where I look at everyone who's live on politics, and I want to click their VODs and be like, let me see if we can find them researching, or if all they do is like spew their political message. Because Jesus Christ, even though I agree with you on your political message, it just doesn't look good, and personally, I hate it.
Yeah.
Oh my.
Listen, I'm hoping the Destiny research streams. Okay. Well, I mean, he's already done a shit ton of them, I guess. But those will.
And also, even those people scrutinize him. Like they would rather hear him debate with like crazy people.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. It just drives me insane sometimes. One of these days, okay. One of these days, I'm gonna go off the hinges. Actually, I already did, but that was for other reasons. Okay. One of these times, I'm gonna go off the hinges again. I'm gonna be on a panel. I'm gonna yell at all these people and be like, "Listen, none of you guys have researched any of this. You're just saying what Destiny
Yeah, it's like you've read news articles and watched YouTube videos."
It drives me insane.
People, yeah.
But at the same time, I can't I'm in like a really weird spot because I can't just actively protest against these people because they have like my political ideology. But also, I don't like what these people are doing. I can't get a good grasp on it. I'm trying to think about it.
By the way, you're close to reaching Twitch affiliate now, aren't you? You gotta be, man.
I should tomorrow. I should get it tomorrow.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. The only thing I was not on was the days thing because I didn't stream 7 calendar days.
Oh yeah.
I was thinking about making my first stream and reading the Twitch rules to know we don't violate them.
Dude, well, as long as you're left leaning, they don't seem to care. You know, Frogan and Hassan can say the C word that I'm not going to say.
You're gonna attempt to say because you're not that left. Come on. Now.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, it's wild. And Sean the Black can say his stuff about calling for violence against Destiny.
Oh yeah, my goal right now is I'm literally just gonna dig into everything about this election. So then when it gets to November, I can go onto these panels and just actually know what I'm talking about because I feel like that's I'm done. I don't even want to talk about Palestine. I don't want to do any of that. I just want to research this. Okay. I don't know if you noticed my last stream, but I literally was just reading stuff about rights.
Yeah, I saw. Yeah,
because I want to work on a. Of course, Brent. Gotta have the notion. Okay. But I want to basically because I want to get down like the point, like every Trump, it's easy to say what laws Trump has violated. It's harder to say how he violated them.
Yeah.
So I want to get that down in packed.
It's also you have to understand it well because all these Trump supporters can throw out like 10 unhinged like conspiracy theories, and then somehow the onus is on you to like prove them wrong, and it's annoying.
Prove everyone. Yeah. That one. Yeah, it's driving me insane that like I'm genuinely more mad at my party currently than like the opposite. Because at least I expect the opposite to be unhinged.
Yeah, you expect.
I guess
yeah.
Yeah, I guess I was just naive. Like I was expecting the left side to be less extreme, but I mean, yeah, there's extremists on every side. I should have expected that.